This is 5 Live Sport with Steve Crossman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Very shortly here on 5 Live, we'll bring you our own interview with the England head coach, Sarina Wiegman. She's been speaking to Gary Flintoff after their World Cup final defeat to Spain. So we'll talk more about that shortly. In the women's 100, the Manchester Originals have beaten the Northern Superchargers. The men's match is ongoing. You can listen to commentary on 5 Sports Extra. Superchargers need 145 from 81 balls to win that one. We'll have reaction to Villa's 4-0 win over Everton once we reach half-time in our second commentary game from the Premier League today, which is West Ham versus Chelsea, and John Murray has the teams.
Yes, I do. And I should say as well, by the way, Steve, that there are actually quite a lot of England shirts in evidence in the stands here at West Ham. People who obviously went out this morning, watched the World Cup final, and then have come on down here to watch this game, West Ham against Chelsea. West Ham are going to be celebrating the winning of the Europa Conference League trophy before the match, and it is standing on a claret plinth at the mouth of the tunnel. But the man who lifted the trophy in Prague, Declan Rice, has gone, of course, but making a debut today in midfield is James Ward-Prowse, who comes in to take the place of Fornals, who's on the bench. That's David Moyes' only change to his team. So the other midfield signing, Edson Alvarez, is a substitute for West Ham today. Their team, Areola, Tufal, Captain Zuma against his old club, Aguerd and Emerson, another former Chelsea player. Then Ward-Prowse, Souček and Paquetá does play in this match. Stories doing the rounds over the course of the last couple of days regarding possible betting charges against him, but Lucas Paquetá plays. And then the front line of Bowen, Antonio and Benrahma. And as for Chelsea, the record signing, Moises Caicedo, he's on the bench, he's a substitute, so he's warming up with the other Chelsea substitutes. Romeo Lavia, the other midweek arrival, is not in the 20, so just one change for Chelsea as well. Reece James, the captain, is injured, so Malo Gusto comes in for his full debut. Ben Chilwell's the captain today. So Sanchez in goal, Disasi, Thiago Silva and Colwell, then Gusto and Chilwell the wing backs, Fernandes, Gallagher and Chukwuemeka, and Sterling and Jackson.
That trumpeter who upset Chris Sutton before the Monday night clubs back at the London Stadium, I hear in the background. I've heard more tuneful ones.
Well, don't speak too soon, because it's actually a full military brass band that is going to be playing Bubbles as part of the celebration of winning the Europa Conference League. So just hold your fire.
I mean, we had a concert pianist playing the Champions League theme in Istanbul, so my standards are high, but I will accept. We will wait and see. Paul Robinson's alongside John for commentary. Afternoon, Paul.
Steve, good afternoon, and I tell you, it's a very impressive band.
I believe you. All right, I'm sold on the band. I'm not yet sold on Chelsea's midfield, and we're only going to see, if anything, one of those new signings this afternoon from the bench. But just on paper, they still don't look totally balanced, do they?
No, I don't think they are. They're going to take a little bit of time. We saw last week against Liverpool. I think the manager will be pleased with the way that they played in parts. For 20-25 minutes they got outplayed and they could have gone 2 down. But I think you can see by his team today, his team selection, other than one change, is pretty much the same as what it was last week. He's trying to get a new identity, he's trying to get a style into them. And with the turnover of players that they've got, we all make jokes about the size of the squad and they're coming on 6 or 7 buses, or it's going to take a manager time to mould the squad and to mould the team.
Whereas for West Ham, James Ward-Prowse, is he as close as you can get to a surefire hit?
Well, he's a great signing, isn't he? I think, he's stood out in a Southampton team that has struggled at times in recent seasons. He's got himself into the England setup. And for me, you look at it, he guarantees you between 6 and 10 goals a year just from his set plays alone. But then you put his assists into the mix as well. I think it's a very astute signing by David Moyes, I really do.
I feel like we're going to get a bit of Sweet Caroline in the background.
It's the Romford Drums and Corps Band, just to give them their title and give them the credit that they deserve.
All right, they sound better now, okay? It was just that maybe the trumpet just needed a bit of tuning, and they look fantastic. I can say that as well. Every Chelsea player is clearly playing for their place at the moment, because we don't know how many more they're going to get in. We didn't necessarily see too much from Nicholas Jackson last week, John, but he starts again today.
Yeah, starts again, gets another chance. I think he would have felt a lot better about himself if he'd been able to score that early chance that he had. But, Mauricio Pochettino clearly has liked what he's seen of him, which is why he's in the team. And I know that the options are relatively limited, bizarrely, as we discussed a week ago. But, 22 years old, there's a lot of pressure piled on him for a club that's spent almost £1 billion over the course of the last year to come in at 22 years old. And when you think he scored those goals for Villarreal last season, but really the 13 that he got were based on a couple of very good months at the end of the season in April and May when he scored 9 of those goals. Went to the World Cup. He's an international player, but still, playing in a team like this, for a club like this, to put it simply, he could do with getting a goal as soon as he can.
Thank you very much for the time being, guys. So we'll be back with John and Paul at the London Stadium for full commentary in just under 15 minutes' time. Right now, though, we're taking you to the London Stadium. We've already had Villa versus Everton. Villa winning 4-0. Reaction at half-time in that game, as we join commentary of West Ham versus Chelsea. Couple of minutes from getting underway, as the music in the background will tell you. So let's join your commentary team, Paul Robinson and our correspondent, John Murray.
Well, thank you, Steve. Yes, welcome everyone. And what a lovely summery afternoon it is inside this huge oval of a stadium next to the Queen Elizabeth II Park, which is in full bloom. And inside, West Ham are in full bloom because they've put up a mosaic on the far side of the stadium as the teams walk out. So the West Ham players, Chelsea players, looking directly at a mosaic of the trophy that was won at the end of last season. So most of the sand there is claret, but in the middle is a silver image of the Europa Conference League trophy. They've been showing the highlights of Prague on the massive screens at either end. Great memories for West Ham supporters, whether they were there or not. We've had the brass band playing bubbles. The actual bubbles are now being churned out by those two machines on the big claret carpet either side of the West Ham United Hammers crest, and they are really enjoying what they achieved at the end of last season. That's the way to do it, Paul Robinson.
It's fantastic, isn't it? What a fantastic arena. There's a lot of talk when the club moved from Upton Park and what they've done to this stadium. They've adapted it, they've made it home, and days like today make it extremely special. That was a really warm welcome for the fans, for the players, especially off the back of a trophy winning season.
Yeah, they of course put in the highlights montage. They had to. David Moyes and his little dance and the big smile on his face as he ran across the pitch. And just looking down at him now, David Moyes has just gone across to Mauricio Pochettino back here at West Ham as the Chelsea manager, having won the last 3 matches that he came here when he was the Tottenham manager. But it's strange to say it, isn't it? But despite the fact David Moyes won a trophy 2 competitive matches ago, because of the fact they finished 14th in the Premier League and were battling against relegation, the pressure's on right from the start.
He always seems to be under pressure, does Moisey, though, doesn't he? It seems it's a constant theme every year, and he certainly won't like the sight of Mauricio Pochettino sat next to him. He's never beaten him as a manager in five previous attempts, so he'll be hoping to break that trend today. But yeah, he does. David Moyes, we know he's lost Declan Rice this season. He's made a great addition, in my opinion, with James Ward-Prowse coming into the side. And I think the way that he's structuring a squad now, he's got the nucleus of a strong squad, what he had last year. A couple more additions. I don't think they'll be thereabouts this year. I think they'll be more than safe.
And we are joined on 5 Live by listeners to the BBC's World Service on this glorious sun-kissed afternoon here in East London. The pre-match formalities are just being completed. The team news is West Ham with Areola in goal, a back four of Sofal, Captain Zuma against his old club, Aguerd, the other central defender, another former Chelsea man, Emerson at left back, then debutant James Ward-Prowse, now in a West Ham shirt, alongside Souček and Paquetá, who plays for West Ham, even though we've had these stories over the last couple of days of possible gambling charges against him. And then Bowen, Antonio and Benrahma are the front line. And Chelsea, their record signing, Moises Caicedo, is among the substitutes today. No Romeo Lavia at all. He arrived as well from Southampton this week. Mauricio Pochettino says it's common sense because they arrived late. They haven't trained properly in the last few days, and he said particularly Lavia needs a few days to settle. So Chelsea's team, Sanchez in goal, Disasi, Thiago Silva and Colwell. Malo Gusto makes his first start as right wing back because Captain James is injured. Ben Chilwell is the captain on the other side, the left wing back. Then Enzo Fernandez, Gallagher and Chukwuemeka, Sterling and Jackson. So those are the teams, Paul.
I think he was reasonably pleased, Mauricio Pochettino, last week with the performance against Liverpool. There was times in that game where they were outplayed, but we know that it's a transitional period. He's trying to bring in players, he's losing a lot of players, and he's trying to create something. I think he'd be reasonably pleased with what he saw last week, hence the reason there's only one enforced change from him.
And with the West Ham supporters in full voice, the game begins, and Chelsea immediately fire the ball down the left-hand side and win a throw-in that will be taken by Levi Colwill, who I felt settled into it last week on what was his Chelsea senior competitive debut. Up against Salah for that. Ball played into the penalty area on the left-hand side. Chukwuemeka is after this. Chukwuemeka's crossed to the back post. West Ham already under pressure here. That was headed away by Emerson, and then it is eventually volleyed out of play for a throw into Chelsea on the right. Chelsea straight onto them.
Started well, got some good possession, Chelsea. Chukwuemeka down this left-hand side, cuts in on his left foot, dinks it to the far post. Chelsea have got the ball again with Conor Gallagher in the middle. They're dominating early possession here. They look very comfortable.
So, second Premier League match of the season for these two. They both started with 1-1 draws last weekend. Chelsea coming forward again. Shot on the edge of the box is blocked, and West Ham play it forward. Fantonio, who throws himself down after minimal contact with Axel Disasi as he went past him. The ball was nowhere near them, and referee John Brooks has waved play on.
Yeah, let the play go. Antonio's cutting quite a lonely figure at the moment. It's going to be a long afternoon for him if his team don't squeeze up the pitch and close these gaps what Chelsea are finding in between the lines.
So I assume, Paul, will see Caicedo at some point, you would have thought, during the course of the match. I mean, does that surprise you at all that he's on the bench as the ball goes out for a throw into West Ham?
Well, I think if you listen to Pochettino's comments there in his post-match press conference, I think you can understand the reasons he's brought the player in this week. There was a lot of transfer talk surrounding him, a lot of unsettlement. He's only been there for a couple of days, and I think it's just common sense that he's not in the starting 11 today. Yeah. But yeah, I do think we'll see him at some point, John.
Sofal playing the ball forward. There's a West Ham man down at the back. It might be Emerson, but West Ham continue their attack, and it's headed out of play by Chilwell. So a throw-in that Sofal will take, but referee Brooks has now spotted that the man is down. Is it Emerson? No, it is Paquetá actually who is down, and he's holding his left lower leg, and referee Brooks will go to check on him. Just on Paquetá, and I think the injury was done. Just seeing it again now, jumping into a challenge. Might have just been caught by Conor Gallagher as the two of them challenged. Just on the issue of Paquetá, we know, as I say, that there are stories that he is the subject of possible gambling charges, and I suppose it's a little like Ivan Toney, who continued to play for Brentford until such point came that the charges arose and there was a resolution to that.
I think that's what the manager will they look at it like that. I think, you know, until he's been charged or there's been found guilty of something, the manager will use him, and he's been an outstanding player for them. I thought the partnership they had with Declan Rice last year was key to a lot of what they did, and you can see why Manchester City are admiring from a distance at the moment.
Well, John Brooks has had a look and he's waved on the West Ham physio. So Paquetá is now receiving some treatment and an early stoppage in play. 3 minutes played, 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. West Ham 0, Chelsea 0. One match in the Super League this afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoff. Dave Woods.
Leeds 18, Warrington 16. It swings again. Luke Hooley, a try scorer for Leeds, and Reece Martin's kicked the goal. There's 13 minutes left to play. Leeds 18, Warrington 16.
And in the League Cup in Scotland, Celtic are 1-0 down to Kilmarnock. So Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0. And they're into the last 15 minutes there, so the possibility that Celtic might be, the holders, might be knocked out of the League Cup. Throw for Sofal. Paquetá is just being led to the halfway line off the pitch, but the throw is headed out, and West Ham have a corner. This is their first attack of the match after that lengthy stoppage. Paquetá waiting to come back on, but he won't be on before the corner is taken, and it's James Ward-Prowse who's getting a warm reception down there from the West Ham fans. It's actually quite close to the Chelsea fans in their section as well. But Ward-Prowse raises his left arm, then swings it over to the back post. It's headed down by Zuma. Goalkeeper Sanchez dives for it. There was another West Ham player in there on the line. It was Jarrod Bowen who threw himself at it, but Sanchez, I think, just got something on it, and Chelsea were able to clear it.
Well, there's a perfect example of what James Ward-Prowse brings to you with this set-piece delivery. We talk about his set plays from direct free kicks. We talk about his goal to the side that he brings, but that there is a perfect example of his delivery from a corner. It was a perfect assist for Zuma on the far post. Ball falls in the middle of the box. Sanchez dives Superman style, just gets enough on it to take it off Bowen. But that's what West Ham will be looking for this season off James Ward-Prowse.
West Ham 0, Chelsea 0, and Paquetá is now back on the field. And it really, given away. That was an error by Gusto on his full debut, but West Ham couldn't take advantage of that, and that was an opportunity too, but given away by Benrahma when he did have options there, and Chelsea are able to clear through Colwell, who slices it out of play.
Well,
throwing the other half in.
That's the risk that you run, isn't it, when you play out from the back, and you see so many managers playing that way now, and they allow the players to take the risk, take the opportunity. And for Gusto, who's coming to the side, I think this is only his second start for Chelsea today. It's going to take him time to adjust.
I thought Zuma might have done a little better actually with the corner from Ward-Prowse. It hit him almost as much as anything else. But West Ham with Bourne on the right hand side. Bourne lays it into the penalty area to Sofal, and an important covering interception from Gallagher, who just raced in there and was able to bundle it behind for another West Ham corner.
He does really well there, Conor Gallagher. We know his energy up and down the field. It was just a good piece of tracking back from him there.
Conor Gallagher looked as though he might have actually fallen awkwardly, and he slid onto the track. Anyway, corner, Ward-Prowse again to the back post. It's down and it's in! Again! For West Ham from the Ward-Prowse corner. West Ham are in front in the 7th minute, and that's the Ward-Prowse delivery for you. David Moyes' side, cup winners last season, celebrating it today, and 1-0 up already.
Well, they had a warning 5 minutes ago, probably less than that. Same corner, carbon copy from James Ward-Prowse, lifted to the far post. Zuma was his target. Aguirre comes round the back, completely unmarked. Free header at the far post. It's clearly something that West Ham have worked hard on at the training ground. They know the quality that James Ward-Prowse brings. 2 corners, 1 assist already. Fantastic header from Aguirre at the far post.
And the defending of that set piece seemed rather disorganised actually, and he ended up against Conor Gallagher, who didn't get off the ground.
Well, it was a carbon copy of one 2 minutes ago. Chelsea didn't learn their lesson. The ball was placed into the same area at the far post, and it seems that Conor Gallagher, for me, shouldn't be picking up the 2 centre-halves of West Ham.
That's a strange one, when you've got the 3 central defenders.
That's an organisational thing, but you've got to give West Ham credit, because they've worked on it. They've dragged Chelsea players to the front post, and Ward-Prowse's delivery was excellent.
Well, that is just what West Ham, just what David Moyes, just what all of these people in claret and blue wanted to see here. Obviously, against Chelsea, whatever the state of Chelsea, never mind them finishing 12th place in the Premier League last season, finishing just 4 points above West Ham actually in the Premier League table at the end of it all. You know, there is obviously real power in this Chelsea team as the ball is played through to Jackson. Oh, and the goalkeeper comes out and catches him. Jackson went down, and the offside flag was up. Well, Areola came out, Jackson was sent through, got a touch past the goalkeeper who came out from this distance. It did seem that Areola had caught him, but John Brooks quickly looked across to his assistant, who's one of the new assistants, by the way, in the Premier League this season, Akel Housen, and between them they ruled that he was offside when he was put through. But that is tight, Paul. We're seeing it again.
Listen, we're a long way from the action in the London Stadium, but from up here it did look like Alphonse Areola was lucky. It was one of those where the goalkeeper comes out, and as a goalkeeper what you do, you make a decision, and he goes to ground. He's not taken Jackson out, but he's left Jackson the opportunity to leave his legs in.
But this could still be a penalty, because it is very tight. When the ball was played through to Jackson to make the run, with the naked eye, he might be onside, so this could be a penalty to Chelsea. What do you think?
The VAR are checking whether it was offside or not.
So tight.
I don't think the referee actually gave a penalty though, did he? Because I think the linesman put his flag up and the game stopped. But they are actually checking the VAR in the build-up to this goal when Jackson runs through one-on-one with Areola.
He's offside. He is given us offside, and there is relief. There is relief here. And when you think about it, the challenge was given before the offside, wasn't it?
That's
so the
right.
challenge was put in before play was stopped. So had he been onside, that would have been a penalty. But it's not. He was offside, but it was very tight.
And it was clever by Jackson. Like I say, it was one of those where the goalkeeper gave the striker the opportunity to leave his legs there and get a foul. It was a penalty. It would have been given.
Now that is what we saw from Jackson last week in a positive sense against Liverpool, that sort of play. And West Ham coming forward, looking for a second goal. West Ham lead by 1-0. The early header from the Moroccan World Cup player, the central defender, Naif Aguerd, who got up and headed it in from 6 yards or so from Ward-Prowse's corner. Sterling is bundled over near the centre circle. That's a free kick to Chelsea while they organise themselves. More from Dave Woods at Leeds Warrington. Here he comes. Here comes Dave Woods. Here comes Dave Woods from Headingley.
It's Leeds 24, Warrington 22. James Bentley had extended the lead for Leeds with a try, but Matty Nicholson has just scored and Ratchford's converted. So 24-22 with 5.5 minutes to go.
Thank you, Dave. So not long to go there. We've only just started here. 10 minutes on the clock. And already drama, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Pochettino will be too dissatisfied with the way that his team started, in all honesty, with the possession that they had. But West Ham, you'll see them do this so often this year with James Ward-Prowse in the side. They'll hit teams on the counter-attack, they'll get set plays, and the delivery will be spot on.
James Ward-Prowse, West Ham's new number 7, just receiving the ball on the halfway line. And it really does seem strange to see him in a claret and blue shirt, in a West Ham kit, anything other than the Southampton kit, after his 410 appearances in all competitions. He was connected with Southampton for 22 years, and he's only 28.
Got a fantastic record, hasn't he? Like, playing wise, you very rarely see him injured. He's not one of these players that'll be missing for half a season. Like I said before, I think it's a really clever signing by David Moyes.
And here is Souček, long-time dependable man in the West Ham midfield, finds Antonio strong against Thiago Silva, cuts into the penalty area, shoots on his left foot, that was blocked, comes out to Ward-Prowse, little touch from him to Benrahma, left side of the box, still Benrahma, jinking from one side to the other, still going out of the penalty area, and then he's actually dispossessed, Benrahma, and Sterling will try and pass it forward to Jackson. Poor pass from Sterling, that was cut out, but now Jackson's returned the favour for Sterling, who was tripped. And it is a free kick to Chelsea, and that is a yellow card, which I think is a good decision from John Brooks. That was quite blatant, the challenge on Sterling as he was going through, just a tug back from goal scorer Aguerd. So he's yellow card, and it's a free kick to Chelsea.
He was away there, Sterling, wasn't he? He'd broken the back line, he was through. He was a long way from goal, obviously, hence why it's a yellow card. But with him and Jackson, they look to have a real set of pace up front now.
That's Paul Robinson, former England goalkeeper, former Leeds, Tottenham, Blackburn, and we're watching West Ham 1, Chelsea 0, and we're watching Enzo Fernandez, used to be the record signing, to take this free kick, the new number 8 for Chelsea this season. Enzo Fernandez plays it in between the edge of the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. West Ham headed away, comes out to the left-hand side for Chelsea. Sterling now on the edge of the box. Here is Chilwell into the area to Chukwuemeka, and then Sterling. And now again, this is good passing from Chelsea on the left-hand side. In comes across from Chilwell to the back post, and it's headed up and over the top. There were 2 Chelsea men in there, and I think it was Jackson who got the touch to head it over as he arrived in the 6-yard box. So goal kick West Ham, they lead 1-0, Paul.
Yeah, Chelsea are threatening every time they get the ball down this left-hand side with Chilwell. Jackson's taken up some fantastic positions. We saw him play against Liverpool last week. There was fits and starts in his game where he looked good, and he's looked sharp from the word go today. As
I mentioned, Celtic in trouble in the League Cup in Scotland. Kenny Crawford.
88 minutes on the clock. It's still Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0. Celtic, the holders of this trophy, they've got a couple of minutes of normal time to stay in the competition. 1-0 Kilmarnock. Marley Watkins, the goal scorer.
Thank you, Kenny. So Celtic, Brendan Rodgers Celtic, have however long is added on at the end of that match to see if they can salvage their position in that tie. Choice of listening at the moment on Sports Extra is the 100, as Chelsea play a long ball downfield, and it's caught by Areola, the goalkeeper. Also quite a number of games in the one-day cup as well, the cricket. I mean, it's a day for cricket today, glorious conditions, as Antonio goes down under the challenge on the halfway line. That is not given as a free kick. Chelsea break away, Chelsea with it, with Chukwuemeka, who had a good game against Liverpool last week. The youngster, he, remember, is only 19 years old, the former Aston Villa youngster, as Gallagher plays it out to the right-hand side. There is lots of youth now in this Chelsea squad. They've spent a lot of money, but they've bought a lot of promise as well, Paul.
Yeah, it's a very, very young squad when you look at the age of the squad. We know the size of the squad, but the average age of the starting 11 of the whole squad. But what they're doing is that they're selling their own youngsters for the financial fair play, obviously because of the profit and loss margins. They've sacrificed the likes of Ampadu, Loftus-Cheek, Mason Mount for the zero bank balance to bring in other youngsters, almost as if to say, look, our youngsters aren't good enough, we need to reinvest elsewhere. Now, if that's a policy that works for them, in a couple of years' time, if they're back at top of the league challenging for Champions League trophies again, nobody says anything. But it's a risky policy. I mean, you look at it since Todd Bowley's been there, 945 million spent. I mean, it's astronomical.
As I keep saying, it is the best part of £1 billion that they've spent over the course of the last year, or at least agreed in transfer fees. West Ham coming forward against them though. Benrahma with a cross from the left-hand side, but it is headed away. Paquetá was almost in there, it's just over the top of his head, and Chelsea have been able to clear it, but West Ham looking good here. Souček to Sofal on the right. Sofal's cross taken down by Ward-Prowse, back to Souček in the D. He's being challenged by Chukwuemeka. Then on the left-hand side, Benrahma hits the shot that is blocked on the edge of the area, and it bounces for Jackson of Chelsea, and Jackson, Aguerd, who's already been yellow carded, had to be sharp there. He knew Jackson was coming. He asked himself for a little bit of extra power, and he found it and was able to pass the ball to relative safety.
Well, they've got that with Jackson and Sterling, the electrifying pace there. Every time that Chelsea get the ball, if West Ham turn over possession and they haven't got cover at the back, one ball through the middle of Chelsea have nearly been in 2 or 3 times.
Just to underline the youth, Paul, it's been pointed out to me on the BBC Sport website, on the football pages. They've spotted that the youngest player in the West Ham team today is Paquetá, who's 25, well, he's nearly 26, and 8 of Chelsea's starting 11 are younger than him.
It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, you look at it last year, we know that Chelsea misfired last year. We know it wasn't a season that they want to remember. But with Pochettino going in there, with the transitional period that we keep talking about, you've got a manager who's able to mould the squad, able to mould the team. And I think he was clever taking that job, John. I really do. He's bought himself 12 months. The expectation at Chelsea is at an all-time low. And when in recent history, when have we known Chelsea finish 12th? So whatever he does in this next 12 months, they're going to be up there. They'll be challenging for Europe again at some point. But he's bought himself time because of where the club's expectation is.
Absolutely. You, like me, listened to plenty of managers over the years, and I know whatever the troubles they might get into this season, he will always be able to say, we've improved on last season's 12th place. Here's Sterling into the area on the right-hand side, shoots from the angle, but that's a clean catch by Areola above his head. And the other point is as well, what's his reputation? Pochettino, his reputation is, as a coach, as a manager, improving players. And you improve players, don't you, when they're younger players in the main.
And the relationship that he has with younger players, his man management of a younger team, if you like. When you look at it, it's a perfect fit. And I think, we're in uncharted territory with the amount of spending that's gone on at Chelsea. We don't know if the chairman, the owner's going to hire and fire, but you would think he will have time.
Chelsea manager has time. Sure. So West Ham 1, Chelsea 0, Chelsea in possession inside their own half. Back to the Super League. Have Leeds won it, Dave Woods?
They have, 24-22. Warrington nearly snatched it right at the death. Rashford's grubber kick. Matt Duffy saw the ball slip through his fingers when he would look to favourite to score. Leeds top 6 hopes remain alive. Warrington in the top 6, still looking vulnerable. Leeds 24, Warrington 22.
Chelsea with the ball inside their own half. Chukwuemeka. I mean, a feature of his play against Liverpool last week, as we said when Matthew Upson was with us at Stamford Bridge, the ground that he covered, and he's doing the same here, Chukwuemeka. But now Sterling bursting forward into the right-hand side of the penalty area. Defender went with him, Aguerd, and Aguerd put a foot in and blocked it behind for a corner. And that's been a feature today, Sterling running through what you used to call the inside right position. One of the older stages, Sterling in this Chelsea team. He's still only 28 though. Corner from the right. Chilwell's gone across there to take it. So Chelsea corner, Ben Chilwell, who's named after the changes as a vice-captain this season, and so therefore in the absence of James, and that's a real early blow for Chelsea to lose Reece James to this hamstring injury, went off last week. So Chilwell, left-footed, takes it to the near post. Thiago Silva flicked it on, but straight up in the air, and Areola came and was able to make the catch.
It shows you as well with Pochettino, the youngsters, he's not afraid to play them. Malo Gusto has come in today, 20 years old, probably only his second game, I think. He was on loan at Lyon last year, only played 6 games. But Pochettino's seen him in training, he's seen him in pre-season, and he thinks he's good enough, and he's given him his opportunity.
West Ham leading through the Aguerd goal. Scored a couple of goals last season for West Ham, his first season. Obviously had that incredible experience with Morocco at the World Cup, and then part of the Europa Conference League winning squad. Ball is given away in centre field though. Ward-Prowse caught in possession, and Chukwuemeka plays it, just came off the head of Paquetá. However, Sterling, Chelsea's number 7, gets it, turns, looks to cross, hits the back of Souček, headed up in the air, not cleared by Emerson, but they have managed to get it away to Sterling again on the right hand side. Chelsea, their first choice colours in the blue shirts and shorts, white socks with the white trim, white numbers on the backs, and here's the blonde-haired Gallagher, 25 yards out, takes it on and shoots, and it's patted back by Areola to Jackson, who chests it down but then volleys over from between the spot and the edge of the penalty area. So goal kick West Ham.
Got really lucky there, Areola again. Gallagher's got acres of space outside the box, and he hits what we call the wobble ball. It's straight at the goalkeeper. For whatever reason, he doesn't feel he can catch it, but he pushes it straight in front of him to the edge of the 18-yard box. If you don't feel as though you can catch it as a goalkeeper, you put it into areas. You got lucky then.
Yeah, more on that in a moment, but we are going to go from London to Budapest for the latest on what is the second day of the World Athletics Championships, and Catherine Merry has news for us.
I do, John. They've just concluded the men's 1500 metre semi-finals, and the men couldn't replicate the women and get 3 Brits into the final, but Neil Gorley made it, Josh Kerr, the Olympic bronze medalist, made it, but no place in the final for Elliot Giles. And next on track, Katarina Johnson-Thompson goes for gold in the heptathlon.
Thank you very much. So just to mark your card, our plan is that we will be taking commentary to see if Katarina Johnson-Thompson can take gold in the heptathlon, and a little later as well, Zarnell Hughes will go for Britain in the 100 metres final. So commentary to come on that here on 5 Live. Here is Gallagher. Chelsea trailing by 1-0. And Thiago Silva, who I thought played as well as anyone in a Chelsea shirt last week. Even at the age of 38, he's got all of these youngsters around him, Paul, but he looks as good as ever.
Well, you need your leaders, you need your captains, you need your managers on the pitch. We heard Pep Guardiola last year talk so openly about Gundogan and how much he was his leader on the pitch. And when you've got such a young squad, you need that.
Chukwuemeka's done really well down the left-hand side, takes it into the penalty area, gets the crossover, couple of deflections, and then it's volleyed away near the edge of the box by Ward-Prowse.
He's done well there, Chukwuemeka, but it's the final end product. It's the last pass with him. He's got some great pace, he's got great ability, but it's just there's no end product with him at the moment. Now, Paul, you're the perfect man to talk a little bit more about Jackson. When he had that shot there on the edge of the area, volley, to the naked eye, for the man or woman in the crowd, they'll be saying he's shot straight at the goalkeeper, and he's just patted it back into the penalty area. Yeah, why don't we catch them? Yeah, well, you see it, we talk about the wobble ball all the time. When the ball's hit so hard, you make a decision as a goalkeeper. Can I catch it? What are the pros and cons of catching it? If I catch it and drop it in this area, is it going to cause me a problem? If not, I push it into another area. But all those split-second decisions have to be made very quickly. But what he's done there, he's just pushed it straight back out to the edge of the box where he should. He's made a decision, he's not catching it. He needs to push it wide of the box.
Enzo Fernandez with a cross from the right-hand side for Chelsea, but that was over the top of Chilwell, who actually had the defender there with him. He let for it, couldn't get a touch on it. There was also a feature last week how often Chilwell got himself into a position inside the penalty area, but Vladimir Coufal went with him there and was just close enough, I think, to impede him, and therefore it was away and behind goal kick.
They're playing well, Chelsea. They're having the lion's share of the possession. They're having the most attempts, going forward, and it's just the end product. It's just that final pass, that final shot on target that they've been lacking. Apart from the goal, I don't think the manager would be too disappointed with the way his team are playing.
Back to the League Cup. Are Celtic out? Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, Celtic won the domestic treble under Ange Postecoglou last season, but they won't be winning the domestic treble under Brendan Rodgers this season. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0. Marley Watkins, the Welshman, former Barnsley, former Norwich, former Bristol City striker, tapped in at the back post on 58 minutes to give Kilmarnock a memorable victory here. They're into the quarter-finals of the League Cup. They've already beaten Rangers and Celtic at Rugby Park this season. 1-0 Kilmarnock against Celtic.
Well, congratulations to Kilmarnock, and if you're a fan of Kilmarnock, why not give Chris Sutton a call later? That's a real serious early blow for Brendan Rodgers at Celtic to go out of that competition. Chris will be on 5 Live with Robbie Savage on 6:06. I'll let you know in the second half when the lines are open. And we are about 5 minutes away now from the final discipline in the heptathlon in Budapest. It's on BBC television as well, by the way, if you want to watch it, or on the iPlayer on your device. But we will have commentary here as Chelsea come forward. The ball breaks for Jackson. Oh, and Aged had to be careful there. It was a little clumsy the way it bounced away from him. He put his arm up for a moment. I thought he was going to shove him in the back. He's on a yellow card, but he managed to get a touch on it and took it away.
And Jackson knows that he's on a yellow card. He's playing on his shoulder, looking for that ball over the top every time. Every time Sterling gets up, he faces the ball, faces forward, and he looks to slip Jackson in down the side. And you can see that he's picking on a gird because he's been booked.
Real promise today from Jackson. You know, he hasn't
looks sharp, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. He hasn't let the fact that he wasn't able to get off the mark last week at Stamford Bridge against Liverpool affect him, certainly in the play yet. And there have been some really positive things. And had it not been for a very, very tight offside, he would have won a penalty for Chelsea as well. But West Ham lead for the Naif Aged goal. He's been heavily involved, Aged, in the opening exchanges. And we've had 26 minutes played. West Ham 1, Chelsea 0 on this packed sporting day. I'm sure you were following the World Cup final in Sydney earlier, that of course ended in disappointment for England and celebrations for Spain. And we do have a World Cup final football daily special, which is out now. If you want to hear from Serena Wiegman, Millie Bright, the captain, Mary Earps as well, that is available right now on BBC Sounds to download. But Chelsea here dominating the possession, over 70% possession in the match so far, but they find themselves 1-0 down, as of course they did last week against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge in the opening match in the Premier League under Maurizio Pochettino, having to come from behind again. And it is Chelsea with Colwell. They are parked inside West Ham territory. As you said earlier, Paul, you know, Mikel Antonio very much playing as the lone striker on his home ground.
He is. You can see what David Moyes didn't want to happen today. He didn't want to get overpowered in midfield. You can see with Paqueta, Souček, Ward-Prowse, Bowen, Benrahma, he's trying to cram that midfield, but once Chelsea spring through that, they get at the back four.
Nice turn, Jackson on the edge of the area into the box on the left, prods it across, and it is blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box. Cheers, because referee John Brooks slips over. Everyone always loves that. Here's Chilwell to the byline. Chilwell pulls it back, only half cleared. Chukwuemeka in the area. Oh, lovely turn! Oh, what a goal! Super goal! Carney Chukwuemeka scores the first senior goal of his career, and what a goal it was from the 19-year-old. Brilliant skill. One foot to the other, beat the defender, right foot, curled it beyond Areola, and it's West Ham 1, Chelsea 1, and a great moment here in the London Stadium for Carney Chukwuemeka.
It's certainly been coming. Chelsea have had the lion's share of possession, have dominated this game, and it's nothing more than they deserve. It's controlled possession again down this left side. A couple of 1-2s with Ben Chilwell. Chilwell does well. Zuma has a chance to clear the ball. He doesn't. He passes it straight to Chukwuemeka, cuts inside, opens himself up, opens the whole goal up, curls it around Areola. No chance for the goalkeeper. Great feet, tight space, fantastic finish.
Love the way he beat Thomas Souček inside the penalty area. Now, a greatly experienced player up against a teenager, and Chukwuemeka there just had one thing on his mind, and that was, I'm going to beat you, leave you for dead, and shoot for goal.
Quality, real quality. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was calm, he was composed, showed great feet, great skill, and he only had one intention, and he executed it with perfection.
So there we are, West Ham 1, Chelsea 1. Don't miss that one on Match of the Day tonight. West Ham coming forward, as they will now have to. Bowen chests it back to the edge of the penalty area, but it's away for Chelsea. and Chelsea are able to take it on, and Chelsea continue on the front foot. David Moyes now standing rather stiffly with his hands on his hips.
He's not dancing now, is he?
He is not dancing now. No one's asking, and he's not dancing. And here's Enzo Fernandez in possession, back to Disasi, and it's the Chelsea fans that you can hear down there who are enjoying their moment. Just like last week against Liverpool, they've come back and made it 1-1 in the first half. Enzo Fernandez curls a ball that's stretching away by Emerson, who then got a second header in, but Chelsea back in possession. Gallagher, and then Gusto on the right hand side. Sterling's there as well. 1-2, Sterling gets it back, his cross to the back post. Chilwell arriving with the header, but got underneath it, and the ball glances away out to the left hand side. Chelsea again, it's Colwill this time. Colwill to Enzo Fernandez, and producing some of the tricks that we saw him last week. He loves to play the ball from foot to foot, and Chelsea are all over West Ham here. Enzo Fernandez again, this time towards the left hand side, into the penalty area, looking to his left, and the cross comes in from Colwill, the central defender, to win a corner. All Chelsea.
Well, it's brilliant from Chelsea, really is. The ball retention's excellent. Since West Ham scored, they've offered very, very little. Chelsea have dominated the possession, they're keeping the ball, they're dragging West Ham out of positions, they're slotting the ball in between the back four. They look really, really good today, Chelsea. I mean, I watched them a number of times last year. This is a completely different team to what we saw last year already.
Chelsea, who have won 1 of their last 15 matches in all competitions. That's how bad it's been. In the Premier League, won 5 of their last 31. You know, that's how poor their form was last season.
Almost unthinkable, isn't it, for a Chelsea side?
It really is.
I mean, especially away from home. You look at the way that they're playing today. They're playing attacking, free-flowing football. They only scored 18 away goals last year in 19 games. It's incredible.
So we're waiting for this Chelsea corner from the left-hand side. It is swung over. Enzo Fernandez to the back post. It's glanced across the face of goal and went past the defender. And I think, referee says goal kick. Goal kick for West Ham, who have really been under the cosh, actually almost from the moment that West Ham took the lead.
They did well up to that point. They created chances, they pressed forward, they got the goal, and like you say, they've really offered very, very little to nothing since the goal. They've had no ambition. They've been quite happy to sit back and trying to break up what Chelsea are doing, but to little effect.
The Katarina Johnson-Thompson 800 metres has been delayed, so the heptathlon 800 metres delayed, and it will start in about 7 minutes from now. So that's when you'll hear the commentary as Bowen is caught offside, and it's a free kick to Chelsea inside their own half. So that will be almost half time actually by the time that takes place. So West Ham 1, Chelsea 1. Chukwuemeka, he'll be in the headlines tomorrow. The young man who started out at Northampton Town actually, then went to Aston Villa, and just a handful of appearances for Aston Villa before he got that move last summer, so a year ago in the August of 2022, to Chelsea for around about £20 million. But he's a young England international, went to the World Cup in Argentina, the Under-20 World Cup at the end of last season once his duties with Chelsea were finished, and he looks like he could have a breakthrough season on the evidence of the 2 matches so far, and he's got his first goal, his first senior goal with Chelsea, or indeed with Aston Villa, in what is his 37th senior appearance. So West Ham coming forward, ball on the left hand side into the full-back position. So Gusto will have to do some defending. Paquetá takes it up again on his right foot. Paquetá hits a high ball right across from left to right to Jared Bowen, who gets the ball down. Bowen, who scored a very good goal in West Ham's opening match against Bournemouth last weekend, having scored the clinching goal at the end of the Europa Conference League final in Prague that led to all of the celebrations that we've seen today. Chelsea though clear it on the edge of the box, and here's Jackson again, turns, and he's away from Ward-Prowse, and he uses Sterling, and Sterling lays it back to Jackson, and Jackson in the box pulls it back across from near the dead ball line. Might have gone down there as a challenge came in on him, but he kept his feet, pulled it back, but there was no one there in Chelsea blue.
The goalkeeper should have come out there, John. You know, because of the earlier incident where he misjudged it and he brought him down the penalty. The goalkeeper stayed on his line, and Jackson was through one-on-one. He actually made it to the byline. He got far too far. He shouldn't have got that far, and there was no one there. He cut it back to an empty box, but the goalkeeper made a wrong decision.
I think Raheem Sterling just nicked the ball back from Paquetá, who I think is complaining about this. I think he might be saying that Sterling used a hand in there, but the assistant on the far side and referee Brooks just saying it again, and actually Raheem Sterling was gently pulling the back of Paquetá's shirt. He stopped playing, the ball didn't run out of play, and Sterling said, okay, right, no decision, I'm going to run away with the ball, and he's won a corner.
What's Paquetá doing?
You
taught as kids, you play to the whistle. He's
corner,
just stopped.
Corner is taken, headed away, comes out to the edge of the box, but a slip on the edge of the box from Gusto as he tried to shoot goalwards. He slipped and he actually made a right mess of it, and Aston Villa were able to clear it. And now there's a foul on Michail Antonio, and referee Brooks whips the yellow card out of his top pocket for Axel Disasi for that foul on Antonio. Free kick to West Ham inside their own half.
I'm still amazed at what Paquetá did then. He literally just stopped, and Sterling thought the game had been stopped. He realised it hadn't. 20 yards from goal, he just takes it to the byline and crosses it in.
Don't often say that, do you? West Ham 1, Chelsea 1. Sofal takes the free kick, and it's headed out of play by Disasi, who comes across, the goal scorer against Liverpool last week, the French World Cup player, played in the World Cup final only for the last few seconds, and I suppose it would have followed. He could have ended up taking a penalty in the shootout, but of course it didn't come to that. West Ham 1, Chelsea 1. West Ham throw from Sofal. Souček tries to head it on, comes out. Paquetá, lovely turn, low shot, might have clipped the foot of the post on the way wide. Shot through a crowd of Chelsea defenders, and I think it did just clip the foot of the post.
Great feat from Paquetá in the box, but that's what West Ham are doing. They're utilising set plays. They haven't had a sniff of a goal since their goal, and they get a long throw in down this side by Sofal, throws it right into the box, and Chelsea is struggling with a man marking from set plays. West Ham get the ball, and he's very unlucky. It just trickles wide of the post.
Yep, just clipped the foot of the post on the way past. So that was better. But my experience here, it's quite often under David Moyes you've seen this sort of game. But then when in the second half, very often West Ham get a bit of momentum behind themselves and come into their own. But Chelsea in possession inside the West Ham half, as they have been for most of this first period. On this glorious summer's afternoon, summer clouds are way up there beyond the Assalor, that great big helter-skelter red wrought iron structure that we can see over the top of the roof of the stand opposite. Here's Gallagher, little touch back into central midfield, and Enzo Fernandez now tries to pick out the pass to Sterling into the area at pace, was able to get a touch and control it, but it just bounced away from him, and a defender was in there, and goalkeeper Areola as well.
What a pass by Fernandez, what vision that is. It's about 40 yards from goal. Sterling just cuts in off that right hand side, makes that run that we see across the back four, darts in behind. Enzo Fernandez lands it on a sixpence right on his foot. He's unlucky, Sterling, because he controls it really well.
Yes, the former British record holder in terms of the transfer fee involving a British club, Enzo Fernandez. The new one is sitting on the bench. If you just switched on and you haven't heard, Moises Caicedo, former Brighton man, named as a substitute by Mauricio Pochettino. And as Chelsea win the ball back, Enzo Fernandez shouts that there might have been a handball in there from the West Ham fans, but referee Brooks says no, and Chelsea still with possession inside the West Ham half. I think as you hinted, Paul, I think everything that surrounded Caicedo over the course of the last couple of weeks or so, was he going to Liverpool, was he not, where was he, what did he want to do, and the pressure of being involved in a transfer like that for a 21-year-old, I think it does smack of common sense for him to be eased back in.
I'll tell you what, he'll do well to get in this side the way that they've played today. They've been fantastic in the midfield of Chelsea.
Well, Conor Gallagher would have been, you would have thought, the likely casualty. Might have been the youngster, might have been the teenager, Chukwuemeka, but if he's playing for his place, well, he's playing for his place very well. As Chelsea have it on the halfway line. Half-time approaching, so does the 800 metres in Budapest. Chilwell playing the ball in field. A fortunate break of the ball, back to Chilwell. Now on the edge of the area, Jackson into Chukwuemeka on the edge of the box. Challenge on him, but the referee says no, that was a foul by Chukwuemeka. as he went into the challenge on Emerson, was it?
Yeah, it didn't look nice at first viewing. It was one of those that we think, if we went to see the replay, but if he's gone over the top of the ball, he could be in trouble. He was just out of his reach, and he's just reached for it, and he's caught Emerson. No, he's okay, his feet are firmly on the ground. It was just a badly timed challenge. He's just on the edge of the box, he just opens up, and it just gets away from him, and he lunges in.
Yeah, he did, as Emerson's come out worst from that, but Chukwuemeka has got to his feet, and he's just feeling his left knee.
It's his standing leg, Emerson's standing leg. So Chukwuemeka's gone across the front of him, and as he's cleared it, he's hit his standing leg that's planted on the ground. So as he's done that, he's hit Emerson's standing leg, and the impact's been with his feet on the ground. So not a nice one.
West Ham 1, Chelsea 1. Emerson getting to his feet, and we see Gareth Southgate is here, the England manager, and he'll be naming his squad, I think the week after next, for the first qualifiers. But half-time approaching here. West Ham 1, Chelsea 1. Good game. Chelsea deserved to be back level, but as I have been building up, Katarina Johnson-Thompson could be just minutes away from a gold medal at the World Athletics Championships. Catherine Merry.
The 800 metres, the final event of 7. Katarina Johnson-Thompson in the gold medal position, Vetter of the Netherlands in silver, and Anna Hall, the world leader, in bronze. But Johnson-Thompson and Hall are the two best 800 metre runners in this. And Anna Hall, the world leader, has to beat Katarina Johnson-Thompson by 3 seconds to deny KJT the title, Alison Kirbishley. And Anna Hall, coming down the home straight on the first lap, has a 20 metre lead over KJT.
And she's gone for it, Kath. She really has. Anna Hall looking very, very smooth, very comfortable. As she takes the bell, the clock stops at 58, 59. Katarina Johnson-Thompson is about 3 seconds away. Anna Hall is starting to build momentum. The cadence in her legs is starting to get faster. She approaches the back straight. Katarina Johnson-Thompson has Wits for company. She's in second place. Can she close the gap on Anna Hall?
Anna Hall down the back straight with the stars and stripes of her American leotard. Her head is rocking and rolling. It's easier to chase. 200 metres to go in the Heptathlon World Championship. Katarina Thompson is starting to pull this one back. Anna Hall's looking over her shoulder. She's struggling here, the American. KJT is digging deep. She must be 2 seconds behind the American. 100 metres to go. Anna Hall, she is tired. KJT 10 metres behind. This is going to be very, very close, but I think Katarina Johnson-Thompson, 10 metres behind Anna Hall, is going to be the world champion here in Budapest again. Anna Hall stops the clock at 2:04. KJT is less than 2 seconds behind. Katarina Johnson-Thompson has repeated what she did in 2019 and is the world champion in the heptathlon.
We quickly refresh the screens to see the result. You're right, Catherine, she reeled it in. That was such a sensible run from Katarina Johnson-Thompson. Anna Hall had to do everything. She had to go from the gun. And we are now confirmed now, Katarina Johnson-Thompson, second place, but well within the grasp of Anna Hall.
6,740 points, 20 points better than Anna Hall, who picks up the silver. Career-threatening injuries between the last medal in 2019 and the victory now means that KJT is in tears, collapsed on the track.
You are world champion again, Katarina Johnson-Thompson.
Well done, Katarina Johnson-Thompson. Catherine Merry and Alison Kirbishley, the 5 Live commentary team in Budapest. And while she was winning the gold medal for Britain, we've had drama here. The score is still West Ham 1, Chelsea 1, but Chelsea have missed a penalty, or more correctly, Alphonse Areola saved it. It was won by Raheem Sterling, a burst into the penalty area from the left-hand side this time. Challenge from Souček was right on the edge of the box, but just inside. John Brooks called it right, the referee. And Enzo Fernandez, who's yet to score for Chelsea, stepped up as the penalty taker, and Areola went the right way to his right and kept it out. Paul Robinson.
Yeah, it was a really poor penalty, John, wasn't it? Listen, it's any penalty that doesn't go in is a poor penalty, but it was one of those stuttering run-ups off a small run-up off a couple of steps, mid-height, goalkeeper's right hand side. It was a very easy save for Areola because he chose the right way.
Ooh, Emerson in there. That was a very firm challenge by Emerson on Raheem Sterling, who has gone down, and a number of the players have now got involved there, and there's a little bit of pushing and shoving, nothing serious, but that was a very, very firm challenge by Emerson. And I think Sterling's okay. Yeah, he's up on his feet now, in amongst all of that crowd of claret and blue and Chelsea royal blue, and just be interesting to see what John Brooks does here. He's clearly speaking to his colleagues who are watching the VAR, and he sent them away, and it looks as though it's just going to be a free kick. Actually, I beg his pardon. It was. Yes, it was Emerson, and that was a very physical challenge by Emerson there on Sterling.
That was a challenge of a man who's fed up of running around after somebody all afternoon.
That was worth the yellow card, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
And he's clattered into him. Yeah, it's not a challenge that endangers him. Here's Chilwell into the area on the left-hand side. Chilwell taking it towards the dead ball line, but defender so far was there, and West Ham are able to clear. It wasn't one of those like studs up or waist high. It was just the power of it. It was a physical challenge that took Sterling out.
It was a proper old-fashioned tackle, wasn't it? It was. We'd have seen that many years ago in the game, quite often. We don't often see it these days. But going back to the penalty, I was just really disappointed with the execution of the penalty. I mean, it's easy to say after the event, but the goalkeeper made a decent save, but it was a comfortable save. But I don't think he helped himself with his run-up, the shortness of it, the stutteriness of it, and it was a real opportunity for Chelsea to go in at half-time 2-1 up.
24th time Raheem Sterling has won a penalty, but it was the right decision. It was a good decision. Souček right on the edge, but just inside, I felt.
No qualms whatsoever. It was a definite penalty.
Yeah, but interesting choice, Enzo Fernandez, yet to get off the mark for Chelsea, but clearly the choice of Mauricio Pochettino as his penalty taker. But Areola making the save, as Paul Robinson says, at a good height, diving to his right, wasn't in the corner, wasn't just inside the post. It was closer to the centre of the goal. And here is Sterling, who's had a bright game. Oh, lovely run into the box, plays it across. Chukwuemeka misses it. Chilwell shoots. That's blocked on the edge of the penalty area. And Chukwuemeka's blotted his copybook there, having scored a super goal there. He was nutmegged by the cutback as West Ham concede a free kick. Paquetá has conceded a free kick in the middle of his half for a foul on Enzo Fernandez.
That was absolutely brilliant by Raheem Sterling. So quick. That was Raheem Sterling of old, what we used to see him. He's taken out 5 players in one run. He did nothing. There's no trick or anything. He just opens the ball up, accelerates, goes past 5 West Ham defenders, cuts it back, and Chukwuemeka completely through his legs, 4 yards from goal. Ball ends up with Chilwell at the far post. It's on his right foot. It's difficult because West Ham have got bodies back on the line. But Chukwuemeka again should have made it 2-1.
But it is West Ham 1, Chelsea 1. This is 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC. Enzo Fernandez takes the free kick out to the right-hand side, where it's crossed by with gusto, into Ward-Prowse, who blocks it out for a throw down the right-hand side. 6 minutes of added time. So if you've just joined us, Katarina Johnson-Thompson has just won gold at the World Athletics in the heptathlon. Zarnell Hughes will go for a second gold of the day for Great Britain later, and we will have commentary and more on that at half-time from our team in Budapest. But the corner for Chelsea is swung in, and Areola comes and gets a punch on that, and is able to deflect it out for a corner on the other side. He's had an eventful afternoon, hasn't he, Areola?
I think like the rest of the West Ham side and the manager, they'll be very, very much looking forward to getting in at half-time. They won't have wanted to see 6 minutes of injury time. They've been completely outplayed in this first half, apart from 2 chances that they've had from set plays.
More as well at half-time on Aston Villa's 4-0 win over Everton. That was comprehensive, as we were listening in the commentary earlier with Ian Dennis and Clinton Morrison. Chelsea take this corner short into the near side of the area to Jackson, and then back it goes to Chukwuemeka, who could easily have got his second goal a few moments ago. Then Sterling goes down rather easily against Paquetá, who incidentally was yellow carded for his dissent earlier, so Paquetá is on a booking in this match, but he's won a throw in for West Ham here. Also earlier, Norwich City 3-1 winners against Millwall. I see Jonathan Rowe scored again for Norwich in that match. Hearts and Hibs are through in the League Cup and will be involved in their European matches this coming midweek. And Celtic are out, beaten 1-0 by Kilmarnock. So more on all of that at half-time. But it's been an eventful first half here at the London Stadium, the first match of the new season here. And Thiago Silva playing the ball back to his goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, who's not had an awful lot to do after conceding the early goal, because it's been all Chelsea, and here they come again in the 5th minute at the end of the first half. Chilwell again up to the edge of the area, Chukwuemeka into the box, that's cleared away by Souček, who's just caught there by Chilwell, who stepped into it and caught him, and it's a free kick. And Mauricio Pochettino has just turned away to, he might have dropped his water bottle or so. Or Kevin Nolan is what was that about?
They'll be glad of the break, West Ham, they really will. I mean, it can't come at a better time for them. They've not been disruptive enough. They've just sat back. They've allowed Chelsea possession. They've allowed them the ball. Chelsea should be 2-3, and they've had the chances. They should be 2 or 3 up, and they've had the chances to do so. Yeah. David Moyes has got to get his team in at half-time, regroup, send them out with some new ideas, because the way that the game is at the moment, they're just sitting there waiting to be beaten.
Yeah. Sent them out with more gusto, although he's on the other side, isn't he? Chukwuemeka has just sat down and will need some treatment, so this will delay things a little furher. Not sure what happened there when Kevin Nolan and Mauricio Pochettino walked all the way back, and the technical area is a long way from the actual claret seat, and Pochettino threw down a water bottle, and Kevin Nolan kindly walked out, picked it up and put the lid on it and gave it back to Pochettino. I'm trying to, it's like charades. John Southall, our producer here today, is sort of motioning. He threw the lid of the bottle down. How angry must you be to throw the lid down? I'm furious.
I can't understand why he's angry. His team have been superb this first half.
I wish I hadn't started that. West Ham 1, Chelsea 1. Chukwuemeka is still sitting on the pitch, but I think this has been significantly better from Chelsea last week.
Yeah, it's an improvement again on last week. I think there was times in the game where the manager would have been pleased with them, and there's times in the game last week where he'd have been disappointed in them. But I think their all-round performance here for 45, well, what we're in now, 52 minutes, whatever it is, with the new added time that we're into, I think they've played really well as a whole. I think their ball retention's been excellent. They've dominated possession. Sterling's been significantly better. I thought he looked quite rusty last week. Looks a different player.
And I tell you what was interesting. You know, we were told in advance that Gareth Southgate was going to be here watching this game. And Raheem Sterling, who's not played for England since the World Cup, so if we knew Gareth Southgate was going to be here, Raheem Sterling probably knew.
You don't get to find out as players unless you have a little look up to the director's box when you're playing. You're not privy to that type of information. But yeah, maybe it's no coincidence, is there?
Maybe it's a coincidence. Well, Chukwuemeka, now this is a little bit of a worry now, because actually a boogie's now being sent on with a stretcher on top of it. And let's hope that this is not another nasty injury here. And it seemed quite innocuous, didn't it?
Didn't it? He's up, he's on his feet, good. Hobbling off.
It's a problem with either foot. It's certainly left leg, because it was his left knee that was being treated by the physio, and he's hopping off the field.
Doesn't look a good one, does it?
This does not look good. This 19-year-old young England player scored his first senior goal today, super goal as well, played well in both matches, having been picked to start by Mauricio Pochettino at the start of his time with Chelsea, and now he is now walking. Now he's reached the side. He's been supported by the medical people, the physios on either side, and he is now putting a little bit of weight on that leg, on his left knee, and he disappears down the tunnel as play resumes.
That's a real shame. He's been the best player on the pitch in this first half. He really has. I've enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, I thought he was close to man of the match last week. And the ball's out of play for a throw into Chelsea, halfway inside their own half. So Chelsea are going to have to make a change, and Mikhailo Mudryk is actually being called forward. That's certainly not what you'd call a like-for-like swap. And after the long stoppage there, we are now into the 9th minute of added time at the end of the first half. West Ham 1, Chelsea 1, BBC Radio live here from the London Stadium on this summer's afternoon. It's got a real mellow feel actually when play had stopped there, and there's just the conversation, the murmur of conversation going on around the ground. And Mudryk actually doesn't get on at the end of the first half because the whistle has gone, And there we are, West Ham 1, Chelsea 1, and they packed a lot into that first half. West Ham taking the lead through the Aguerd header in the 7th minute from James Ward-Prowse's corner, but Chelsea then really dominating it after that. Could have been a penalty had Jackson not been caught offside by VAR before he was brought down. Eventually, the now injured Carney Chukwuemeka scored a super goal to make it 1-1, and then Raheem Sterling in the latter part of the half, while we were listening to what was happening in Budapest, Sterling won a penalty, but Enzo Fernandez chosen to take it, so it's saved by Areola. So there we are, Paul Robinson.
I've been really impressed with Chelsea and the way that they've played this first half. I know we talk about transition, we talk about the new manager coming in and new players, but they look like they've settled. I mean, the formation that they're playing with the three at the back, the midfield three of Gallagher, Fernandes and Chukwuemeka, who for me, until his injury, was the best player in the park. They had the opportunities to be 2 or 3 up. They should have got, Chukwuemeka had an open goal, the missed penalty. They've really impressed me this first half of Chelsea. West Ham on the flip side of that, after their goal they offered very, very little. They had a couple of opportunities from set plays, and that looks like their best route if they're going to get something, win this game.
The home supporters are going to want more from West Ham in the second half, that is for sure. And at half time here, it's West Ham 1, Chelsea 1.
We'll see if we can find out what's happened to Carney Chukwuemeka, because you could see he went down, got back up, instantly realised that all wasn't well, having scored that goal. But Paul Robinson, what about Raheem Sterling? His performance feels like the story of the first half. That's more that we're used to seeing from him in an England shirt.
Really was, Steve, yeah. I mean, he was really impressive, and the partnership that he's got with Nicholas Jackson, they seem to have an understanding already. When they get the possession, Sterling looks up, and before he'd turn around and try and ball retention, try and keep possession, today he's very direct. First thought is forward, whether it's him carrying the ball or him playing the ball through. He really has been impressive. His runs, and he's been really creative, and he's looked a threat every time he's got the ball.
Guys, thank you very much for the time being. Second half commentary, of course, from the London Stadium of West Ham versus Chelsea. Chris Sutton, who'll be with Robbie Savage for 6:06 once we are done at the London Stadium. So second half commentary now of West Ham versus Chelsea with Paul Robinson and correspondent John Murray.
Thank you, Steve, and welcome back inside the London Stadium, where the bubbles are being pumped out again. Chelsea are out there waiting. It's almost as if, Paul Robinson, they can't wait to get at them again, Chelsea.
Well, they certainly didn't want the half-time whistle, did they? They were dominating this West Ham side. They were really good in the first half, the way they kept the ball, the chances that they created. Jackson and Sterling, Raheem Sterling looks like a different player.
Yeah, he's been very, very good. Raheem Sterling, a dramatic improvement on what we saw from him this time last week against Liverpool. And Mykhailo Mudryk is now coming on for Chelsea at the start of the second half to replace the unfortunate Carney Chukwuemeka, who seems to have injured his left knee. We'll have more on that from Mauricio Pochettino when we speak to him later, when he comes on to 6:06. But it is West Ham 1, Chelsea 1, Mudryk coming on, so the feeling will be that maybe Chelsea will go 3-4-3, but the West Ham team the same. Areola in goal, Sofal, Zuma, Aguerd and Emerson. As the second half begins, West Ham kick off in the claret and blue, and then in midfield, Ward-Prowse, Souček and Paquetá, with Bowen, Antonio and Benrahma. Aguerd scored the opening goal for West Ham early on in the match from a Ward-Prowse corner. And Chelsea's team now, Sanchez in goal, the three central defenders, Disasi, Thiago Silva and Colwell, Gusto on the right with James out injured, Chilwell on the left, and then Fernandes and Gallagher in the middle. And Mykhailo Mudryk does seem to have taken up a leftish position, and in fact here he is now jumping onto the ball, but Paquetá was fouled by Gallagher before he did that, and that is a free kick to West Ham in their own centre circle. So Mudryk, Sterling and Jackson, and England goalkeeper Paul Robinson's watching it with us.
Certainly an attacking change, bringing Mudryk on. We talked about Chelsea's dominance in the first half, just not been able to convert the chances. With Chukwuemeka going off, you would maybe expect Caicedo to have come on, to a proper midfielder to have come on, but they've put Mudryk up there, and it looks like him, Sterling and Jackson will be the front three.
So Chelsea defending the end to our left, so West Ham will be playing from right to left in the second half. They're defending the Sir Trevor Brookings stand, and he is here, the great man, Sir Trevor. Don't know whether you've had too much to do with Trevor over the years, Paul, but one of the great guys of football. Used to sit in the summariser's chair with us regularly in my early days.
And a true gentleman.
Absolutely.
Travelled all over with us with the FA and with the England squads, and he was just a pleasure to be around.
Yeah, and of course, as well, on this day, one of the real architects of St George's Park, Trevor Brooking, was one of the strongest advocates that England needs somewhere like St George's Park, and that, I feel, has had a great deal to do with the success of all of the England teams.
And he's a font of knowledge. He's the man that you never ever get tired of listening or asking him things about football.
Well, it was Trevor Brooking who scored the goal the last time West Ham won anything, a major trophy, until Jared Bowen scored that goal in Prague. Here's Chelsea coming forward, Sterling into the box, and then it was cleared away by West Ham. He was looking for Jackson inside the area. Quite a quiet start to the second half, 2 minutes played, and then Antonio Disasi puts the challenge in on him, but referee Brooks says no, it was a foul by Antonio on Disasi. Free kick Chelsea.
He was clever there, Antonio, used his strength on Disasi, and it looked like it was a foul for the West Ham player, but actually knocked Disasi off balance first, and he used that as his advantage to try and get round the back of him. But West Ham have got to be better this half. I mean, we know they got the goal early on in the first half, but since then they've just been sat there and allowed Chelsea far too much possession. They have to be disruptive. They can't allow them to have that much dominance in the game.
Yes, caught out Antonio. Cheeky. He's got plenty to say for himself, hasn't he? Not least on the Footballers podcast. I was watching Callum Wilson last weekend. Here's his partner Mikel Antonio. Latest one of those is available from BBC Sounds, and it has competition now, I noticed, from Football Firsts with Jermaine Defoe and Troy Deeney. So they're all at it as West Ham win a free kick halfway inside their own half. James Ward-Prowse is fouled, and ironic cheers from the West Ham fans, who clearly feel that there's not enough going their way after that earlier foul that was given against Antonio.
Yeah, I think the referee's done reasonably well today. I think he's handled the game fairly well. He's booked players that needed to be booked, and I think he's made big decisions and he's got them right.
Slightly confused there, I'll explain in a moment. Here's Gallagher through to Jackson, now into the area on the right. Sterling pulls it across, Jackson couldn't get there. The ball bounced obligingly for West Ham into the path of Thomas Souček, who was able to clear it away. West Ham still being penned in there. Paquetá, who's on a yellow card, and Gallagher is trying to wind him up. Paquetá doesn't bite and wins a throw-in halfway inside his own half. As you were talking there, rather confusingly, massive screens at either end of the London Stadium. Suddenly, your name flashed up on this. Did you see that?
I've seen that before, advertising a local firm.
It's a local solicitor, I think it was. I thought, what's that on there for? No relation?
Oh, not that I know of.
No, good. As Paquetá plays it forward, and now it's Benrahma into the area. The angle's tight. Oh, and he shoots right across the face of goal and beyond the far post. Big chance. Or did the flag belatedly go up? Or did it? If it did, it was only very briefly. And he was offside. He was offside. He would have been. We're just seeing the pictures, Paul.
Yeah, simple ball over the top from Paquetá, and he puts Benrahma through one-on-one, and it was one of those where everybody in the stadium, and I think even the players knew he was offside, but with the laws of the way they are, they have to continue and play the play out, if you like.
Yes, we didn't need solicitor Paul Robinson to decide on that one. West Ham 1, Chelsea 1 is the score on our second Premier League commentary of the day. But of course, we brought you live from Sydney, the events in the World Cup final, and then Birmingham, Aston Villa. We heard from Unai Emery at half-time. Really good win for them. I actually thought they played quite well against Newcastle last week, but lost 5-1. But excellent result for them. And now level at 1-1 here. Paquetá though to Ward-Prowse, who shoots from distance, but that was blocked on the edge of the area. Thiago Silva just stood up, blocked it away, and it bounces back towards the halfway line. West Ham take up possession again. David Moyes will have, as Paul Robinson's been saying, demanded more from his team in the second half, and this is better. Zouma, the captain now for West Ham, now that Declan Rice is gone, fires a long ball forward. That's cleared away, but only back to Tsofal, and Tsofal loses out actually, and it's being brought forward now for Chelsea. up towards Jackson. Jackson flicks it back. Here's Mudryk, the Ukrainian international, blonde-haired, involved properly for the first time. Out to the left-hand side, Chilwell, back to Mudryk, then Chilwell again, infield. Gallagher's now onto this. He's 30 yards out, has a look at goal. Gallagher, though, plays it square to Enzo Fernandez, who missed the penalty in the first half, or saved by Areola. Then a little ball from Mudryk to the edge of the penalty area, stabbed away by Jackson. West Ham dwelt on that, didn't take their opportunity to clear, so Jackson said thanks very much, we'll have it back. Chelsea with Chilwell on the left. Mudryk makes a run down into the full-back position. Mudryk then turns it back. Jackson turns, faces the goal. Chilwell's there, quite central. Chilwell dives into the challenge, and Souček is able to turn, take the ball away, and Paquetá passes it out to the right, but passes it straight out of play. Chelsea throw.
You can tell that's something David Moyes has said at half-time. Chelsea were picking holes in this West Ham defence far too easily. They were finding gaps far too easily in the first half. As soon as West Ham lose possession now, they're straight back into a shape. They're very, very hard to break down.
Yeah, 1-1 the score. Chelsea, who equalised through Carney Chukwuemeka. Very good goal. Watch that on Match of the Day 2 tonight, or indeed the programme anytime on the iPlayer. Lines open for 606 on 5 Live. 08 085 909 693 as Chelsea break away down the left hand side. The ball though cross it far too close to Areola, who's able to take that comfortably. Colwill it was, the left-sided central defender, with the cross too close to the goalkeeper.
They did well there, Chelsea. They pulled the West Ham players out of possession, just as I was saying how good that West Ham were at regrouping and getting in position. Chelsea attacked down the left-hand side, pulled Koufal completely out of position, and he found himself in acres of space.
West Ham with Benrahma, but in steps Disasi, but then it's played by Ward-Prowse, and Antonio could be away here on the edge of the box. Antonio! What a super finish that is as well! From the angle, just inside the area, and he hit that so well and low across Sanchez into the far bottom corner, and astonishingly really, West Ham are now in front 2-1.
Well, that goal tells you everything about Antonio. That's what he does. He's powerful and he's got such a good strike on him. He gets the ball, he's through, he's almost one-on-one, but he's too far out. He's got nobody around him, he's got no support. He muscles his way through the defenders, gets past Thiago Silva, keeps Colwill away from him, gets just inside the box, and he smashes a shot across Sanchez right into the bottom right-hand corner. It's almost that he's been closed down by the centre-half. He just opens it up out of his feet, and he finds that bottom corner. Great power, great strength, great physical ability, and then to find a shot from where he did, that's a fantastic finish, it really is.
James Ward-Prowse with the pass to him, so that's another assist for Ward-Prowse, although Antonio had a heck of a lot to do to make the most of that, but make the most of it he did, and that is a truly powerful right foot finish.
And this is exactly how the first half panned out. Now David Moyes, from his point of view, he won't want to see his team sit back now and let happen what happened in the first half. West Ham have come out, they've started really well in this second half. You can see that they've started well because they're pressing a lot higher up the pitch. They're not allowing Chelsea possession, and they've got the rewards early on in this second half.
So great feeling for Antonio, great celebration as well, the way he wheeled away, punching the air, leaping up. And West Ham lead Chelsea by 2-1, ahead for the second time in the match. But with everything that's happened since West Ham took the lead the first time round, I mean, this is an almost can't believe that West Ham have got themselves into this position. But Antonio, his first goal of this season, having been the top scorer last season with his 14 goals in all competitions, which was his personal best in a West Ham shirt. And now, of course, at the age of 33. Mudryk for Chelsea, turns away in the middle of the half, slips the ball through for Jackson, but just slightly overhit. Jackson trying to race onto it, and Emerson actually came across just to do enough, and Areola was able to slide out and take the ball.
It's a difficult ball, like what Mudryk's tried to play. It's too straight on that angle. He's had players each side of him. It's been a lot easier to slip it to one of the wide players on the left. Too straight. Goalkeeper makes the right decision, comes out, swallows it up. Chelsea are going to have to do it all again. I mean, they did well in the first half, like we said, but West Ham give them a lot of credit. They've started this second half with some real intent. They knew they couldn't play the same way.
Great noise now inside the stadium. It's not like a Saturday afternoon fete anymore in here. They're enjoying themselves. They're singing their West Ham songs. They're goading the Chelsea fans there, who must be sitting wondering, how on earth are we not at least level in this match, the Chelsea fans?
Well, they've had the chances, the women, how they're not level, how they're not winning, and how the West Ham fans are champions of Europe at them.
Champions of Europe. We're champions of the third-tier competition in Europe. As Disasi plays the ball across. But I have to say, a little bit of fun there, but I think, the trophy's there, and I know people will say, and West Ham certainly were one of the strongest clubs in that competition, but how many of our, in inverted commas, clubs have played in the lesser competition or competitions, and you think, well, they'll have every chance of winning it, and then they don't. They for whatever reason, they don't come through and win it, and West Ham did.
When you look at that last season, everybody talks about that now, European trophy in West Ham's cabinet. How many clubs, I can think of a very big one that I played for down the road, would swap the season that West Ham had last year. They're in the UEFA Cup this year, they're in the Europa League, they've got a European trophy in the cabinet, and they're in Europe again this year. I mean, it's a fantastic season, it's a great achievement.
Well, it's not for me to say, but I think this could be quite interesting in terms of what happens in the remainder of this match. Over half an hour to go. West Ham winning 2-1 against Chelsea, and is that Caicedo? It is, who is getting himself ready. So Mauricio Pochettino decides that now, 2-1 down, it's time to turn and call for his £115 million man from Brighton. The 21-year-old is preparing himself. He's putting on his match shirt, which is number 25, and we will see him come onto the field very shortly. He's still sitting on the claret cushioned seats down there in the Chelsea dugout, but he will be onto the field with probably about half an hour to play by the time he comes on. Chelsea 2-1 down. I mean, really, what Chelsea have to do is keep doing the same things, Paul.
Yeah, they did so well in the first half without repeating ourselves, but in the second half, I said that West Ham have to find a way, they have to do something to disrupt this Chelsea team. They've not just disrupted them, they've imposed themselves on them, they've imposed their own style on it, and they've reaped the fruits of their labour. Antonio scored a fantastic goal, and even now they clearly learnt a lesson from the first half. When they went a goal down, they haven't sat back, they haven't just been submissive with possession, they've been good.
West Ham 2, Chelsea 1. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Sterling, who's gone quiet in the second half. This is a decent run though, and he was fouled, he was clipped, went sprawling down. Emerson with the challenge, who's on a yellow card, and Sterling goes down and wins the free kick, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 yards outside the right corner of the box. I think it was rather closer actually, where the foul initially happened, but they've brought it back a little.
Direct Sterling, isn't he? Like I said in the first half, I've not seen Raheem Sterling play like this for a very long time. His first thought is forward, his first thought is direct, and quite often it's with him running at the defence. He looked really good in the first half, and he's just done exactly the same there.
Raheem Sterling was joint top scorer for Chelsea last season with just the 9 goals with Havertz. Free kick then. Enzo Fernandez takes this, plays it in towards the back post, and a good header away from Souček. How many times have seen him do that? Defending the big midfielder, getting himself in there and just making sure he gets his head to the ball to glance it out. Eventually, in this case, for a throw into Chelsea over on the far side. A huge splash of sunshine on all of that white and claret and blue in the stands on the opposite side of the ground. Chelsea take the throw and it comes to nothing. It bounces behind off, I think, Chilwell for a goal kick. And West Ham will be in no hurry. And now, here it is, here's the moment. Here's the moment. After Chelsea agreed a record fee involving a British club for 21-year-old Moises Caicedo of Ecuador, and it is going to be a rejig here for Chelsea because the captain, Ben Chilwell, the captain today, Ben Chilwell is being withdrawn from the left wing-back position, and actually Thiago Silva's taking the armband across to Enzo Fernandez. But here he comes now. Just imagine how his heart is beating. This little man from Ecuador, 21 years old, signed for £115 million, is onto the field, and he takes up a position almost instinctively in the centre of the Chelsea midfield with that new number 25 on his back. So it begins for him, Paul Robinson.
And it looks like Chelsea have immediately reverted to a back four with Caicedo just sat in front of the back four. Colwell's gone to left back, Disasi and Silva centre halves, and then Gusto on the right back. So it's a new start for him, but it's a new formation for Chelsea.
So here's Enzo Fernandez, £105 million himself. Ball played through into the penalty area for the run of Sterling. That was excellent work. Emerson, who breaks away with the ball and then puts the challenge in on Caicedo. He's got to be careful on the yellow card, but it was a fair challenge. Benrahma couldn't keep the ball in. It rolled onto the white line. The assistant on this side, Lee Betts, immediately his flag was up. They don't like it in the stands, but he was looking down the line, and it's a throw into Chelsea.
David Moyes didn't like it either. He's giving the official a piece of his mind. He too was looking down the line, but I think his line was slightly more biased than the officials.
I can't remember which game it was, but I covered a match here once, do you remember, where West Ham conceded a goal when the ball went out of play and back in above David Moyes' head. Mudryk down the left-hand side, crosses towards the back post. Sterling gets there. Sterling now shoots, but it's blocked out to the edge of the area. Here now Gallagher with a shot. Defender throws himself in the way of that. Souček it was, and then Caicedo tries a volley but mishits it with players bearing down on him, and it's a goal kick, and they are jeering and cheering at him from the stands, the West Ham fans.
He's going to get that this year, Caicedo. With a price tag like that comes expectation. With any type of success comes expectation, and he's carrying the weight of £115 million around with him, and he's, wherever you're going to go, people are going to judge him, people are going to watch his every move.
Goal kick, West Ham 2, Chelsea 1. Zarnell Hughes, by the way, very soon will be trying to do what Katarina Johnson-Thompson has already done for Great Britain in Budapest and try and win a gold medal. Zarnell Hughes in the 100 metres. We will have commentary on that, but I will give you warning when it is getting closer. And our All About Athletics podcast all this week, quite fittingly today, Dame Denise Lewis is the focus of today's. Steve Cram yesterday, and West Ham are going to bring on a debutant of their own. Edson Alvarez is coming on for his West Ham debut. £35 million from Ajax. He was the first West Ham signing after Declan Rice was sold really right at the start of the summer. West Ham fans were wondering when that first signing was going to come, and eventually it did. Edson Alvarez will be coming on, the Mexican international. So West Ham 2, Chelsea 1, and this of course is after this Chelsea reshuffle, the change of formation from Mauricio Pochettino. But still the score remains West Ham 2, Chelsea 1, after that thumping finish from Mikel Antonio. He'll be talking about that on the podcast, I'm absolutely certain.
Strikers like talking about goals that they've scored, don't they?
So selfish, aren't they? Here's Thiago Silva with the ball in the centre circle, passes it forward. That was read by Aguerd, and Aguerd to his left to Mikel Antonio, who turns, shields the ball from Enzo Fernandez, finds Benrahma. Benrahma goes around Colwell, who tackles back extremely well. Thought for a moment there he was away, Benrahma, but excellent defending from Colwell in front of the England manager Gareth Southgate.
Does really well, Antonio, puts his strike partner Benrahma through, and he just gets the wrong side of the defender, but he does so well, uses his pace, gets back in and puts the challenge in the penalty box.
Talking to Matthew Upson last week, England defender, and I'm in agreement with him. I will have a feeling that Colwell, if all is well, will be in the England squad at some point this season.
I think we might be seeing a few of these Chelsea youngsters in there, and maybe one of the older ones in Raheem Sterling as well, if he continues to play the way he has today.
However, in the match, West Ham 2, Chelsea 1, and West Ham have already scored a goal from a corner from Ward-Prowse. This is from the left-hand side. Ward-Prowse swings it into the near post, and it's headed up and away for Chelsea. Back out towards this side of the field by Jackson. Comes back into the Chelsea box though. It's played out to the left-hand side. The cross from the left from Paquetá goes a long way, and the shot on the edge of the penalty area through a crowd of players is actually dragged wide by Benrahma, and it is a goal kick, and West Ham lead 2-1.
Paquetá was brilliant then. The ball came back out to him from the corner, and you just expected him just to lift it back into the box. The centre-halves are up, the full-backs are up. Everyone's expecting him to lift it into the box, into the crowded area. He doesn't, he pulls it back to the edge of the box, and it's a really clever little ball that he's done.
It's going to be a double change for West Ham, Paul. Edson Alvarez is coming on for his debut, but Pablo Fornals, who started last week against Bournemouth in the 1-1, but left out today, just the one change with Ward-Prowse coming in. Fornals is going to come on as well. Paquetá might have just tweaked a little hamstring there, or has he? A little hobble. Lines are open for 606 08 085 909 693. Get in touch 85058 hashtag BBC 606. And Chelsea through the middle. Jackson with a flick, bounces to Mudryk. Mudryk just drops his shoulder, but then couldn't find the pass to the far side. That was That was blocked back to Chelsea though. And here is the new man, Caicedo, out to the left-hand side, where Mudryk runs his foot all over the ball, plays it back out of the area to the edge of the D, but Antonio read that, put in the challenge on Caicedo, won it, and then tried to pass the ball towards Benrahma, just intercepted by Colwell, and the ball ran back towards the penalty area where goalkeeper Areola, all in yellow, was able to step out of the box and wallop it away down the middle.
Yeah, it does well there, but that's the threat that West Ham carry on the break. Benrahma's coming over to this left-hand side more and more in this second half, and between him and Antonio, they're trying to break the lines, and they've had limited success.
2-1 West Ham. Those two West Ham substitutes still waiting to come on, but the ball's still in play. It's played through the middle for Chelsea. Now
he's been booked, hasn't he?
Aguerd has slid in on Jackson, taken his legs, and it's a second yellow card. And Aguerd just badly mistimed that challenge on Jackson. And when you're on a yellow card, that is you do wonder. And he's off. He's sent off. West Ham are now down to 10 men.
Listen, it's not a bad tackle, but it's a yellow card. It's just a stupid error by the centre half. The ball's 45 yards from goal. He's completely mistimed a tackle on Jackson, and he's going to cost his team here, potentially. He's just mistimed a tackle. It's nowhere near his goal. Jackson's not even got the ball. He's just reaching for it, and he's slid in. He's already booked. He should know that. He should have more experience, and he should understand the state of the game. He had no reason to make that tackle in that area of the field.
Well, that's going to mean a reshuffle, isn't it? You would have thought, in terms of the substitutes. And I presume that's step forward Angelo Ogbonna, who is now putting his shirt on, and it's going to be a triple change. Chelsea will restart play with a free kick. The tackle happened in the middle of the half as well. It's played in. Jackson was just too quick for him, wasn't he? Just a little touch. He knew that Aguerd was coming, and now Aguerd is going. He's off. Here's Mudryk, left-hand side. 2-1 Chelsea lead, but West Ham down to 10 men. Mudryk, that's overhit. Far too much on that from the Ukrainian, over everyone in the box, and bounces wide of the far post as he looked at it, and we will see the changes now.
This could be, we've played 68 minutes. At times in the first half, West Ham were really wanting the half-time whistle. Now with 10 men, if Chelsea start to dominate possession with the extra injury time that we know we're going to get, West Ham are looking at a good 30 minutes of chasing the ball.
Well, he's going to make just the one change initially, and it is, as you might have picked up there from the loudspeakers, Benrahma is the player who is sacrificed. And Angelo Ogbonna, all of his experience, is going to trot on for his first appearance of this season. The former Italian international. And David Moyes full of instructions for him, arm round the shoulder, talking to him all the way from the seats to the edge of the pitch. But I think it'd be fairly clear, Paul Robinson, what he has to do here, because this is probably going to be West Ham backs to the wall.
Do you know what will be interesting as well, Jonas, to see how the referee officiates with the new instructions that we've had on timekeeping and game management? Because I suspect 12-18 months ago, West Ham might be using some game management in these last few minutes.
And then the question therefore follows, how many yellow cards are West Ham going to receive in the remaining 20 minutes to hang on for what would be some win, this in the circumstances? Long way to go with 10 men, as Sterling now has it on the right hand side. Sterling turns, takes on Emerson to the byline, cuts back. Emerson went with him, and it's Paquetá who is back in there. Seems okay. I mentioned the fact that I saw him just hold the back of his leg, and then Paquetá is fouled by Mudryk, who doesn't like that, and Mudryk says to Paquetá, you can just get on your feet. And then Mudryk goes across to him and places his hand on Paquetá's chest, shoulder, and Paquetá goes down, throws himself down on the pitch. And the crowd are up now. They're saying Mudryk was overly aggressive. Mudryk should be sent off for that, but Paquetá's reaction was ridiculous.
Paquetá's reaction was ridiculous, but Mudryk shouldn't go over to him. He's lifted his arm, he's raised his arm, he's pushed him. He's hardly touched him. Paquetá's gone down. Seeing the incident again now, it's a tackle. It's actually Gallagher who comes across him,
not Mudryk,
and he just catches Paquetá, and Paquetá doesn't like it. And as he goes across to him, he just gives him a little shove on the shoulder. Paquetá goes down like he's been hit by a bus.
Referee Brooks, and of course what this is doing as well is further to the conversation. this is all slowing everything down. And John Brooks has not taken action against either Paquetá or Gallagher, but he has shown a yellow card. Well, Jackson
for his commentary. I don't think he was impressed with what he said to him. He was having his 10 pence worth, I think.
Okay, so Jackson is booked for that. David Moyes is now talking to the fourth official, Craig Pawson. This is bubbling up here, Paul. West Ham leading 2-1.
Certainly is. I mean, for a good finish.
We are. London Derby, plenty of spice. It's a game fixture I've quite often seen in recent years. And West Ham have quite often got results. Won 4 of their last 8 home matches here against Chelsea. And here, they're in line for what we would call in the media an unlikely victory. Here's Antonio on the halfway line, turns and curls a pass over the top, looking for Bowen, but he's overhit that. It bounces through to goalkeeper Areola. We are nearing Zarnell Hughes in the 100 metres at the World Athletics. We will be there in a few minutes' time, and we'll get there in good time to make sure that we take in the full enormity of that. Could be a really big day in the life of that young man as well. But here for West Ham, Antonio, even from this distance, it seems his shirt is darkened by the perspiration on what is a really warm summer's afternoon here next to the Queen Elizabeth II Park. And Noni Madueke, the England under-21 international, is going to come on for Chelsea. Here's Sterling now as Chelsea come forward. Ball played to the right-hand side. The cross from the right from Colwell comes down to the far side of the penalty area, and then a slip by Mudryk just as he was dancing with the ball. He actually lost his footing, and the cheers from the West Ham fans as it was cleared away out for a throw on the left to Chelsea, which is taken now. Centrally, Caicedo, the substitute on his debut, his Chelsea debut. The number 25, as I say, having made only 53 appearances for Brighton. Another great piece of business by Brighton and Hove Albion Football Club. Ball across from Gusto, now centrally to Thiago Silva. Back it comes centrally again for Chelsea. Gallagher moving from left to right, passes it to Gusto. The right back as he is now, Gusto, back onto his left foot, infield from him, little touch from Caicedo, and West Ham with the 10 men, all behind the ball, of course, all behind the ball, all in their own defensive third, and Chelsea now have got to find a way through a forest of claret and blue, and they're not going to find it like that. Is Disasi, absolutely. I mean, that was the touch. He should be at the World Athletics throwing the hammer, because it went way beyond the far post and out for a throw-in, and it's Konagala who's coming off, who is going to be roundly booed for his involvement in the incident involving Paquetá. But that means we're going to see Noni Madueke coming on for his first appearance of the season, and he at the end of last season was an excellent part of England's under-21 European under-21 championship winning squad, and actually did quite well when he was playing for Chelsea, having been signed from PSV in January.
Looking for a bit of creativity is Pochettino, isn't he? I mean, his team were good in the first half, but they've struggled to break this West Ham side down in the second half, and like you quite rightly said, there's going to be 2 banks of 5 when they're out of possession. They're going to be deep. It's going to be attack versus defence.
So it might be a grandstand finish here. 15 minutes to go. West Ham 2, Chelsea 1. But first to Budapest, the 100 metres. Alison Kirbishley with Catherine Merry.
The athletes are out on the track. The 8 men that have made the World 100 metre final. Blue skies, 33 degrees, nearly 35,000 fans, and 1 world title up for grabs. Ford of Jamaica goes in 2, Tobago of Botswana goes in 3, Christian Coleman, the former champion of the USA, goes in 4, Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Zarnell Hughes, the fastest man in the world this year, starts in 5. Lane number 6 goes Noah Lyles, the fastest qualifier, Oblique Seville of Jamaica in 7, Sani Brown of Japan in 8, and the world number 2, Omanyala of Kenya in 9. The athletes are brought to their blocks. The USA have won the last 3 world titles, a clean sweep in Eugene last year. Not possible in 2023 because the defending champion Fred Curley did not qualify for this final. The athletes settle down. Times mean nothing. Who's about to deliver right now in this men's 100 metre World Championship final? Zarnell Hughes, lane number 5, the last to settle. Camera focusing on Christian Coleman, the American, in lane number 4. Impressive in qualifying. Noah Lyles, the fastest qualifier, in 6. And it's a clean start in the final of the men's 100 metres. Tebogo out well. Coleman of America going well in lane number 4. Hughes has got a bit of work to do here. Christian Coleman's been reeled back. Noah Lyles is going to take the gold. Zarnell Hughes has got a medal here. And let's just confirm, it looks like Noah Lyles has the gold in 9.84 seconds. It's going to flash up. Noah Lyles is delighted. He's not sure. He's sure now. He raises his arms to the air. The fans go wild. Gold has gone to the USA again, to Noah Lyles. 9.83, equaling the world lead of Zarnell Hughes. Let's just wait for the silver. Let's just wait for the bronze. Where are they going to go, Alison Kirbishley? I think Zarnell Hughes has got a medal here because he looked across to Lyles and smiled with the broadest smile you can imagine.
I think the young man, Tebogo, in lane 2, yeah, he's now confirmed as silver. And then it's the bronze. It was a clean sweep of about 3 guys. Christian Coleman, the former world champion from Doha in 2019, was in the mix. But Zarnell Hughes, did he sneak?
Yes!
He has 9.88. We have a medalist. He was the quickest man coming into this field, and now he can finally climb onto the podium.
The last medal that Great Britain and Northern Ireland won in the men's world final was back in 2003. Darren Campbell picked up a bronze. Zarnell Hughes is the world bronze medalist, just like Katarina Johnson-Thompson. John Murray is on the track in tears.
Very good. Thank you very much, Kath, and more of that sort of thing all week on 5 Live. Live commentary from Budapest, 5 Live Sport every night this week with Catherine Merry, Alison Kirbishley and the rest of our team on BBC television as well all week too. Here at the London Stadium, we have just over 10 minutes to go, and West Ham still lead Chelsea by 2 goals to 1. Chelsea continuing to put on the pressure. David Moyes has made another change. Fornals has now come on, but Chelsea coming forward. The ball lifted over the top by Caicedo, the record breaker, coming on as a substitute in the second half as well. But Chelsea now just outside the box. Gusto on the right hand side. Gusto's cross whipped into the edge of the area. It's through everyone there and out towards the far side, where Fornals will keep the ball in. Fornals, by the way, coming on for Antonio. So Fornals and Ogbonna as he plays it up to Bowen. And Bowen now, he's got a lot to do. He's trying to occupy the 3 Chelsea men who are around him. Fornals arrives, gives it back to Bowen onto his left foot. Bowen shoots, and Areola Sanchez drops down onto his knees and just parries it out.
Does really well there. Bowen holds the ball up, just gives West Ham a little bit of breathing space. Now Antonio has gone off. They're still trying to pack that midfield, but Jared Bowen's the one who's been asked to play as a false 9. He's the escape route when they need a long ball out, and he held the ball up really well there, kept the Chelsea defenders at bay, and he actually created a shot on target for himself.
That's Paul Robinson, England goalkeeper, with us here, watching from on high on the dugout side of the ground. West Ham 2-1 up. West Ham led in the first half through Agayed's header. Chukwuemeka, who's since gone off injured, scored a very good equaliser, but Mikel Antonio scored a very good second goal for West Ham. Chelsea have also missed a penalty. Fernandes had a first half penalty saved by Areola. Cross from the right hand side from Gusto, cleared out, and then the shot on the edge of the penalty area from Colwill, who just controlled it, hit it left footed, gained through a crowd of players, but wide of the foot of the right post as he looked at it.
He'll be pleased, David Moyes, with the way that his team have reacted since they've had a man sent off. We know they're not going to have all the possession like they didn't in the first half, but they've had 2 banks of 5 when they're out of possession. They've tried to affect Chelsea, and Chelsea's chances have been limited thus far.
And now the third substitution, James Ward-Prowse, after his debut, the long-time Southampton man, former Southampton captain, just runs his hand through that neat blonde hair, and David Moyes gives him a little high five and a slap on the back as well. He provided the ball for both goals.
As we knew he would this season, he's going to go in to get assists. He's on all the set plays, he's on the corners, he's on the free kicks, and that was an impressive debut from him with 2 assists.
And so Edson Alvarez comes on, signing from Ajax, experienced Mexican international, 68 caps. He's 25 years old. Used to play under Eric Ten Hag, win a couple of league titles there at Ajax. As I came in to the stadium today, I bumped into a couple of Mexicans who said, we're going to be here a lot this season. We follow all of the Mexicans in the Premier League, so they were at Fulham yesterday, and they'll often be coming to watch Edson Alvarez.
He's a quality player, isn't he, for those people who haven't watched much football outside of the UK. I mean, he's very experienced in the Mexican side. He was a key part of a very successful summer that they had this summer. Experienced international with 60-odd caps, I think, and he's won 2 Eredivisie with Ajax.
However, he's not the most famous footballer called Edson, and he never will be. West Ham 2, Chelsea 1. Here's Enzo Fernandez, square to Caicedo, middle of the West Ham half. West Ham with 10 men after the sending off of Aguerd in the 68th minute for 2 bookable offences. Sterling slips it forward. The pass from Madueke, looking to cut it back, but that was intercepted by Alvarez, who's just onto the field. Corner from the right for Chelsea.
Their build-up's a bit slow and a bit predictable, unlike they were in the first half. They were good, they were quick in the first half, and they're struggling to break West Ham down.
Just a bit sticky, isn't it? But it's almost more difficult now because of the fact that it's a packed defence. Mason Burstow's coming on, the 20-year-old. This is his senior competitive debut for Chelsea. Played pre-season. Former Charlton man, has been back on loan at Charlton. Here's the corner in towards the near post. That's headed away. West Ham, the stretch and clearance from Alvarez. Mudryk takes it round the outside into the penalty area at pace, and then the cross is blocked behind for a corner for Chelsea from the left-hand side.
Yeah, West Ham, they're defending very narrow. They're pushing Chelsea down the sides and trying to get them to play outside of their block. This is the perfect example of a very low block.
Yeah, very low block. Corner then for Chelsea into the near post. That one is headed away by Paquetá, and Fornals battling for it over there, has conceded a free kick. Chelsea with a free kick over on the left hand side. Everything's urgency now for Mauricio Pochettino's Chelsea, facing defeat here for the first time in the Premier League under their new manager. Cross though from the left hand side, it's kept in by Zuma, played back towards the figure of Raheem Sterling, 25 yards out. But I mean, it is so congested, the West Ham penalty area. Madueke back to Sterling. Sterling now tries to go to the byline, takes it on, gets the crossover, touches a West Ham head on Bonner in the middle. Then it's scraped away for West Ham, and then it's taken down by Bowen, and that's excellent work. Bowen and Fornals together, and Fornals passes it back for Emerson, and Emerson has to get a touch on that, which he does, back to goalkeeper Areola, who will rather calmly take the ball onto his right foot, and then not so calmly overhit the pass straight out of play for a throw to Chelsea on the far side.
He's just kicked it out of play, hasn't he? Just completely missed the pass to Soufal. Times like this in the game, West Ham just need a little bit of composure. They're not going to have much possession, but when they do have the ball, they've got to look after it in areas that's not going to cause Chelsea a problem, but get away from their own goal.
So Chelsea, after all of their expenditure, we've got the unlikely front two of Mason Burstow and Nicholas Jackson. Here's Sterling, now down the right-hand side, chips it across. Oh, Mudryk has got that volley badly wrong. He sent it, actually skied it into the back where it came, into the full-back area, and there's an offside flag up as well, and it'll have to be better than that for Chelsea.
He's got that so badly wrong as Mudryk. Sterling again down this right hand side, he just lifts the ball up to the far post. The West Ham defence are very narrow, like I said. Mudryk just goes in around the back, completely unmarked. It's an awful finish from him, and the flag is actually for Raheem Sterling off Mudryk's attempted shot.
Was that a chuckle I heard there?
Well, when you watch it on Match of the Day 2 tonight, you'll see what I mean.
It's very unkind, Paul Robinson. West Ham 2, Chelsea 1. We're into the last 5 minutes here. Bumper Monday Night Club tomorrow in 5 Live Sport. Chris Sutton, Micah Richards, Izzy Christiansen, Adam Crafton with Mark Chapman, and Chris Sutton will be standing by with Robbie Savage to take your calls on 5 Live. 08085 909 693. Text 85058 hashtag BBC 606 to get involved. They are waiting to take your calls, but we still may have drama yet. This will be one where there is plenty of time added on. It could be guess your added time again, as Thiago Silva carries the ball forward. Caicedo in the centre circle. Caicedo now out to the right hand side. That's where Sterling is now. All of those claret and blue shirts drop back into position. Sterling takes on Paquetá down the line. Still Sterling. Paquetá put in the challenge. Sterling reacted, tried to win the free kick. John Brooks wasn't buying that. It's only a throw in. Caicedo takes it. David Moyes. He might be offering another dance if they win this one, David Moyes. Second time in 3 competitive matches. Madueke up towards the edge of the penalty area. He dives in for it. West Ham, they've got players surrounding Madueke, and also Burstow, who's in there. Mason Burstow to Sterling on the right-hand side. Quite a big guy, Mason Burstow, for a 20-year-old. Chelsea coming forward again, up to the edge of the penalty area. That is blocked by Sofal. Sofal then goes down under the challenge that comes in on him from Colwill, and it's a free kick to West Ham, and a sigh of relief for these thousands and thousands of West Ham supporters.
There's a little bit of respite that's needed. It was amazing when the referee gave the free kick. There was 4 West Ham players on the haunches, bent down on the ground to see if they could just waste a couple more minutes, and the referee, before the goalkeepers even picked the ball up, has gone to have a word with him.
He is making it absolutely clear. A yellow card is coming your way, Alphonse, if you take any longer than this, over this, then you have to.
I tell you what though, John, it'll be interesting to see the first referee to give a goalkeeper 2 yellow cards, see if there's one brave enough.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, we were talking about that last week at Newcastle when Martinez had received the yellow card and was wasting time. It will happen. Here's Paquetá, who takes the ball down into the corner flag and wins a throw-in or free kick. He was challenged there, and I think it is a free kick, Caicedo. And so West Ham now, the ball is waiting off the field. Emerson, it's taking ever such a long time, Emerson, as long as he possibly can to get there to take this. To throw in actually against his former club. Emerson, Champions League winner actually when he was at Chelsea, part of the Porto crew. Takes the throw, Paquetá plays it into the shins of Caicedo. That's another West Ham throw, and of course with the long run-off areas here, the ball runs right away to the advertising hoarding. So Emerson walks, and he is within his rights here. It's not a slow walk, but it's a walk, and he gets there to the edge of the pitch. We are in the 89th minute. West Ham lead 2-1, 5 Live in the World Service. Bowen trying to win a corner on the dead ball line, but the final touch was off the West Ham man. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, he does that well, does Jarrod Bowen. He's got the engine, he's got the ability to do that. He's dropping back now into midfield, and he plays that false 9, and he's the out ball should they need it. They're going to have another 10-12 minutes or so defending to do yet though, West Ham.
Yeah, we are still in the 89th minute. It will be at least 7, possibly 8, maybe 9 added time, as Enzo Fernandez tries to scoop the ball forward. Areola could have let that go actually, but came across and actually controlled it, and is now running his foot over it and now picks it up. They'll think of this as a famous victory. David Moyes, 2 competitive matches after seeing his team win a cup, his West Ham team. If this had gone against him today, it would be very interesting to see what the reaction would be. As it is, they're winning it, and then Bowen is challenged by Disasi and goes tumbling down. Disasi has been yellow carded, but there wasn't a great deal in this. It's a foul, but it's just a free kick for West Ham.
It's frustration more than anything, because Bowen's doing a really good job. Chelsea can't get possession. Bowen's just trying to hold the ball up. He's just trying to get his teammates higher up the field, and from Disasi it's just sheer frustration that they can't get hold of the ball.
Do you think 7 minutes, higher than 7 or lower than 7 of added time?
Well, we don't know these days, do we? I might have to go and put another ticket on the car, John.
Paquetá plays the free kick forward. Well, West Ham could have taken time over that. The answer is it's going to be 6 minutes. Thought it might be more. Paquetá. We're not into it yet. Oh yes, we are. We are now into it. The fourth official comes forward with the ball. Fornals has got away into the penalty area. Fornals could score. Oh no! Sanchez sticks out a right leg and prevents it going into the bottom left corner. Well, that would have won it for West Ham.
I don't think there was anyone more surprised in the stadium with the Fornals at the end of it. It was Caicedo who sloppily gives the ball away. He just hits Fornals' knee, finds himself one-on-one with Sanchez, drags the shot and hits Sanchez's right knee. Really sloppy in possession from Caicedo.
What a strange game this has been. Entertaining. And West Ham have got it back again, and it's Emerson who tries to pull it back. towards Bowen inside the penalty area. Clearance from Colwill, and then down, tumbling down, twisting over time and time again goes Paquetá, but he's not going to get a free kick for that. He might as well get up and get back on the field, because Chelsea are breaking away with Jackson. Very good challenge though from Souček on Jackson, just as he was looking to break free. Now it's Mudryk moving from left to right, low ball out to the right hand side to Madueke in added time. Madueke in field, opens up, deflected, good save by Areola down to his left, came off Souček. I'm sure it was creeping in, and Areola had to change direction there, which he did, stuck out a left hand and pushed it around the post. Corner.
Madueke does brilliant there. Souček thinks he's helping his goalkeeper out, causes him problems, gets a deflection on it, going in the bottom left hand corner. Areola adjusts his feet from the original shot, gets across his goal and makes a fantastic save. It might have just got his team a win.
There speaks the goalkeeper. Defender thinks he's helping his goalkeeper out, almost deflected it in. First corner is taken short. They win another one, Chelsea. So second consecutive corner. Mudryk to take it from the right hand side. The Hammers fans trying to do their bit. Mudryk, it's a deep out swinger, and it comes off a Chelsea head, but takes it out towards the far side. Sterling has it nipped away from him by Fornals. Fornals tries to win a throw in, and then sliding into it over on the far side goes Alvarez. Chelsea win the ball back though after it runs free. We've had 2 minutes. We're in the third minute of the 6 of added time. West Ham 2, Chelsea 1. On 5 Live, 6:06 is on the way. But first, Chelsea attack. Madueke, poor ball in at knee height. Ogbonna was able to clear that away with his claret and blue striped socks pulled right up over his knees. Chelsea again. Caicedo on in the second half for his Chelsea debut. Square to Enzo Fernandez. Over £200 million of talent right there, and Enzo Fernandez's cross is too deep, too high, and Areola makes the catch.
Yeah, they're really deep now, West Ham. They really are on the last legs. They're sitting on the edge of Areola's box. They don't really want to get up the field in possession. They're just accepting the fact that Chelsea have got the ball, trying to keep it in front of them, trying to keep it down the sides. They've got the opportunity now to clear the lines.
West Ham 2, Chelsea 1. And actually, Paul, when you think about it, Chelsea had quite a number of close things in the first half, as well as scoring the goal through the injured Chukwuemeka. In the second half, in terms of opportunities to score, relatively few. As now the ball is being brought forward for West Ham by Paquetá, up to the edge of the penalty area, gives it to Emerson. Surely Emerson will turn. West Ham with 10 men and take this to the corner flag, but no, Emerson looks for it from Paquetá, and then Emerson is brought down. It's a penalty to West Ham. Another twist in this remarkable game, and it's Caicedo, the record transfer, who has conceded it, sliding in, bringing down Emerson. What an amazing turn of events. Yet another one in this match.
Well, it's thrown up so many surprises this game, and another one. We've got another penalty in the 94th minute. Emerson and Paquetá playing 1-2s on the edge of the box when all they're trying to do is stay in the Chelsea half. Caicedo makes such an untimely challenge. It's a really ugly challenge. It's a penalty. He takes down Emerson, and West Ham have got the opportunity to put this game to bed.
This to win it 3-1. Who on earth would have thought it? The way that this game has gone, and I think it's Paquetá, isn't it, who's very much in the focus of things with what's been going on with him over the course of the last couple of days. So who knows what the future holds for Lucas Paquetá, but he steps back to the edge of the penalty area. This to win it, to beat Chelsea for West Ham. Up he comes, a little stutter. It's in! It's 3-1! David Moyes celebrates! West Ham celebrate! An unlikely win for West Ham, but a win nevertheless. And Mauricio Pochettino and Chelsea must wonder, how has it come to this? West Ham 3, Chelsea 1.
Well, at half-time we were waxing lyrical about Chelsea, how good they were, how they kept the ball, the possession they had. Chelsea should have been 3-1 up at half-time. You've got to give West Ham so much credit for the way that they've come out in this second half. They've disrupted Chelsea, they've stopped them playing, and even with 10 men, they've still created chances of their own. They've done really well in this second half of West Ham. David Moyes' half-time team talk certainly had the tonic.
Honestly, Paul, how many games do we see? Dozens, scores and scores, and then again you come to a match like this and football surprises you over and over again.
But they say a game of two halves or something, isn't it?
Mauricio Pochettino stands there. He's got his tracksuit top open, his Chelsea tracksuit top, black and white it is, and it's a bit like as Steve Davis used to said after they lost that final. It's all happened down there in black and white.
I don't think the most hardened of West Ham fans would have predicted that their team would not only win this but would win it 3-1.
So Sterling now down the right hand side, but the game's gone. The game is up for Chelsea and Mauricio Pochettino. Famous victory on the day that they've paraded the Europa Conference League trophy here. West Ham starting out at home in the Premier League this season with a win against Chelsea. It'll be 1 point from the opening two games for Mauricio Pochettino as the Chelsea manager. I mean, better times will come. At times today they've looked very good indeed, but they're losing. Sterling and with the ball on the right hand side with Burstow, and West Ham play it out from the back, but it doesn't matter. They don't have to worry about wasting too much time now with only seconds left. In fact, with 7 minutes, we've had 7 minutes of added time. More will have been added on for the goal celebration, but no more. That's it. The final whistle goes in the first Premier League match of the season here at West Ham's London Stadium, and quite a win it is for them. West Ham 3, Chelsea 1, finishing the match with 10 men and winning it right at the end with that penalty scored by Lucas Paquetá. Some game, Paul Robinson.
Oh, fantastic. It's been a pleasure to be here today. This stadium's still packed and you can hear the fans. They're enjoying every minute of it, and rightly so. David Moyes' West Ham team, they look a different outfit to even what they were at the start of last year. The confidence that trophy win last season has given this group of players, the togetherness, the energy, the enthusiasm they showed, the desire not to be beaten at the end of the game was incredible with 10 men. But listen, brighter times are ahead for Chelsea. They were very good in the first half, really good in the first half, but West Ham found a way.
So there we are. Mauricio Pochettino loses in his second Premier League match as the Chelsea manager, their first Premier League defeat of the season, of course. But for West Ham, an unbeaten start, 4 points from the first two matches, and David Moyes is out there on the pitch applauding to all sides of the stadium as the West Ham fans sing their song. And it is West Ham 3, Chelsea 1 that is the final score here.
Yeah, celebrations off the pitch and celebrations on it as well. The first thing Paul Robinson, David Moyes did is he picked up the match ball like he'd scored a hat-trick and strutted over to shake hands with Mauricio Pochettino.